Good evening to those in Hispaniola, including the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and those in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, the Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and potentially even Bermuda. Today we are going to be mainly focusing on Melissa, some about 94B, but we're mainly focusing on Melissa today. I'm going to be sharing this stream in the meantime. If you have any questions about the impacts in your potential area or any questions about the storm in general, you can always ask them in the live chat and I will get towards them in around 20 or so minutes. Alright, this should be working. Let's see. Alright, posted there, and is it going to post there? Alright, oh no is the first person in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, alright. This is not working. Sorry, I'm trying to share it on Facebook. Just trying to get it to all my viewers across multiple different platforms, letting them know that this is happening. Let's see, come on. And then we'll get into it in less than a minute. There we go. Okay, let's get into it now. Thank you guys so much for waiting. Oh boy, and we have a lot to talk about right now. So let's talk about the forecast now over the next 7 days, mainly the next 5 days though. So, it is currently a Category 2 strength hurricane. It is expected to continue to rapidly intensify over the next 12 hours, become a Category 3 or 4 strength system by then, and by tomorrow night, it is expected to be a Category 4 strength system. Powerful major hurricane, and beyond that, it's expected to continue to rapidly intensify into a Category 5 strength system. This is not tomorrow night, this is going to be Monday night, a Category 5 strength system by then, and it will be making a turn to the north overnight on Monday, and on Tuesday morning, it's going to be approaching Jamaica there, weakened slightly, but still a Category 4 strength system. That is not different by much. The impacts between a Category 4 and Category 5 are not that different. It will be slamming into Jamaica as a powerful Category 4 strength system. By the time it leaves Jamaica, it is still a Category 4 on Tuesday night. It is then expected to slam into Cuba as either a Category 3 or 4. This would be likely on Wednesday, and by Wednesday night it will be plowing through the Bahamas or Turks and Caicos Islands, and then by Wednesday night, I believe this is going to be Thursday night, then it is finally out in the southwestern Atlantic as still a Category 3 major hurricane, and then by around Friday night it's going to be nearing Bermuda as potentially making a landfall there as a Category 1, and by Saturday night it's still a weak Category 1 or low-end Category 1 hurricane out to sea. So that's the 5 to 7 day forecast, at least for track-wise and intensity. Now let's talk about impacts, since you don't have to be in the cone here to get very bad impacts. You don't need to get a direct hit from this. So let's discuss the marginal impacts. It does include the entirety of Hispaniola, all the Turks and Caicos, and majority of the Bahamas. They're excluding the northern islands. It does include the southeastern half of Cuba and the entirety of the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. They're all in that marginal category. You could see at least some light rain and gusty winds from this system. Now, going over to the slight category, that does include the southwestern portions of, or southwestern majority of the Dominican Republic and a majority of Haiti there. The entirety of the Turks and Caicos and a majority of the southeastern and central Bahamas are in that slight category, and the southeastern third of Cuba in that slight category as well, and as well the entirety of Jamaica in that slight or higher category. Let's see, what else here? Looking at the moderate impacts, that does include southwestern Dominican Republic as well as southern Haiti and the entire southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Some of the southern Bahamas there, southern and far southeastern central Bahamas in that moderate category. And again, the southeastern portions of Cuba and the entirety of Jamaica in at least the moderate category. Now going into the major category, or at least the possibility major impacts, that does include some of the Bahamas there, southeastern and central Bahamas, and as well as a large portion of Cuba could see major impacts from this system as it could be rolling through as a major hurricane. Now, going over to the forecasted major impacts, that does include southwestern Dominican Republic and southern Haiti. There is also major impacts now being forecasted for parts of Cuba, the southern coast of Cuba, because it could be making landfall again as a Category 3 or 4 strength system by overnight on Tuesday into Wednesday. and parts of, really the entirety of Jamaica there in that major category. Now, let's talk about the possibility of extreme or catastrophic impacts from the system. Now, there is somewhere highlighted in parts of the Dominican Republic there, the southern portions of the Dominican Republic, and that is going to be due to rain. Same for portions of the southwestern peninsula of Haiti there. Could get catastrophic or extreme impacts. Now, looking at parts of Jamaica, that does include St. Anne, Manchester, and Clarendon there for the possibility of catastrophic or extreme impacts. And there are areas now finally being forecasted to get extreme or catastrophic impacts. These are the areas that are going to get these impacts, okay? These other areas were a possibility of them getting those kind of impacts. Now, these are the areas that are going to be seeing extreme or catastrophic impacts. This is damage to infrastructure, extreme damage to infrastructure, and areas could be isolated for quite some time. This does include the southeastern portions of Jamaica, which does include parts of St. Anne, the entirety of St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas, and Kingston are expected to get catastrophic impacts from this system, as well as parts of the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. All could see catastrophic impacts from this system. So that's the forecast now over the next 5 to 7 days. So it's really an unfortunate scenario there for mainly portions of Jamaica, Hispaniola, Cuba, and the Bahamas. But as well, Turks and Caicos Islands could see impacts as well. Just really bad all around. We will continue to have more updates over the coming days, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to reach 3.9 thousand subscribers by the end of the stream. So let's talk about the world of tropics, since there's a fair amount going on. It's not just this system. But in the North Atlantic, of course, we have Hurricane Melissa, Category 2 strength system with winds of 105 miles an hour. You can see where it's going now over the next 5 to 7 days. That's going to be going off towards Jamaica there and off towards Bermuda and out to sea, after plowing through so many areas. We also have Tropical Storm Sonia here, which is expected to meander to the west, could become a brief hurricane, but will be dissipating out to sea. In the western Pacific, we have a disturbance moving through the Philippines, could develop in the South China Sea, and could develop in the Bay of Bengal there, has a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days. And we also have an area of interest behind that with a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days in the Philippine Sea. That could impact the Philippines within the next 10 days. In the Bay of Bengal, we have Invest 94B with a 90% chance of development over the next 48 hours and a 100% chance over the next 7 days. That is going to be moving in towards India. I believe it's Bob 8, highlighted by the Indian Meteorological Department. And in the Arabian Sea, we have the remnants of 92A here with a 10 to 20% chance of tropical development as that meanders out to sea, or around western India. And in portions of north of Madagascar, we have the remnants of Chenge, which are going to be continuing to move towards the west, towards Tanzania. And we have the remnants of 95S here with a 10% chance of it redeveloping there. Not really going to be impacting anywhere. Alright, now let's go back to this system here. Well, we can see what it looks like on somewhat on visible imagery here, the shortwave infrared imagery. We can see a really healthy system, great outflow all throughout the northern side of the system, so it is rapidly intensifying right now, and we can see solid system here with the convection wrapping up shear. So really, this thing is beginning to bomb out right now. And we can see some of those more dense clouds impacting parts of southeastern Jamaica, including St. Thomas, and it is going to be impacting St. Andrew and Kingston soon. And let's look at the latest infrared imagery, and you can clearly see this burst wrapping around the system completely there, showing it's continuing to rapidly intensify. And you can see that now starting to approach parts of St. Thomas in southeastern Jamaica, and some of those more intense clouds also beginning to reach parts of southwestern Haiti. You can see Cuba getting in on some of the outflow there from the system. And now let's talk about its intensification here. The waters are incredibly warm here, 29 to 31 degrees Celsius all throughout its track here in the Caribbean. But as it meanders into the southwestern Atlantic, waters will begin to cool, but still at least 27 degrees Celsius through, I believe, the 5-day forecast. The 5-day forecast may begin to lower down to around around 26 degrees Celsius at least. So waters are going to be sufficient through at least the next 5 days for the system. And tropical cyclone heat potential is incredibly warm south of Jamaica there, where it's going to be tracking. It is not going to be having a problem at all with upwelling. Now, looking at the rest of the environment here, shear is low right now, quite low, and that is going to be preventing or the system from really weakening at all or preventing it from rapidly intensifying. But that will begin to increase beyond the 4-day range. But by then, it's already going to be leaving the Caribbean and going mostly out to sea. Sea surface temperatures are again quite warm, but by the time it enters the southwestern Atlantic, then it's going to be start to cool down a bit. And relative humidity, very nice for the system. It will begin to dry up as it meanders into the southwestern Atlantic, but over the next 4 days, it really is not a problem. Now let's talk about the distances from some of these areas here. So again, hurricane warning in effect for Jamaica, hurricane watch in effect for the southwestern peninsula of Haiti and parts of southern Cuba. Now, in terms of distances from certain areas, let's start off with kilometers and talking about areas across the Caribbean and the Caribbean islands here. It's around 170 kilometers away from Jamaica, roughly 230 kilometers away from where it's forecasted to make landfall, around 250 kilometers away from Haiti, around 450 kilometers away from the Dominican Republic, around 380 kilometers away from Cuba, around 600 kilometers away from the Cayman Islands, around 900 kilometers away from Puerto Rico, and around 500 kilometers away from the Bahamas, around 680 kilometers away from the Turks and Caicos Islands, and around 2,050 kilometers away from Bermuda. Now let's discuss the distance in miles from certain areas here. We can see the radar imagery and how it's moving more to the southwest recently. The storm is beginning to make a little bit of a turn there to the southwest, as you saw right there. So it is beginning to wobble a little bit more to the southwest, which will allow it to intensify even longer. But if we take a look at the distances from areas in miles in the different parishes of Jamaica, it's roughly around 110 miles away from St. Thomas, around 125 miles away from Portland, around 120 miles away from St. Andrew, and around 130 miles away from Kingston. It's around 130 miles as well from St. Catherine, 140 miles away from St. Mary, and 150 miles away from St. Anne, 140 miles away from Clarendon, around 150 miles away from Manchester, around 170 miles away from Trelawney. For St. James, it's around 190 miles away. St. Elizabeth, it looks to be around 160 miles away. Westmoreland, it's around 190 miles away. And Andover, around 205 miles away. So those are the different parishes in Jamaica and the distances as of where it is right now. Those distances are going to be closing down over the next 48 hours, really. Alright, now let's take a look at the various model runs. This is a look at the latest American run, having the system slamming into Jamaica now, central Jamaica, that looks to be around St. Catherine or Clarendon, before slamming into Cuba as a Category 3 strength system, moving through the Bahamas there and Turks and Caicos Islands as a Category 2 or 3, before missing Bermuda just to the east. Looking at the latest Canadian run from the system, it does have it as a much weaker system than it is right now, so it's really not doing that great of a job initializing. Slams into western Jamaica, slams into Cuba, the Bahamas, and then goes west a little bit, just west of Bermuda, and then slams into Nova Scotia as a powerful post-tropical or extratropical cyclone, Category 1 strength extratropical cyclone, and impacts parts of Maine as well. Looks like that. This is just one scenario, though. Looking at the latest European run, it does stall south of Jamaica, slams into Jamaica as a Category 4, and slams into Cuba as a Category 2 or 3, and goes through the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos as a Category 2, before moving off towards Bermuda as a Category 1, and goes out to sea after that. Finally, after all that, it goes out to sea. Looking at the latest German run, it just stalls continuously over Jamaica, makes landfall in the western portions around Westmoreland, and slams into Cuba and goes through the Bahamas there, and then eventually off towards Bermuda as a Category 1. So again, Bermuda, you do need to be paying attention to this system. Now, looking at the European run, or the European ensembles, I'll show this map here because it's a little bit better to show. So chances of it passing within 100 kilometers of your location. Kingston, you have a 74% chance. Santiago de Cuba, a 66% chance. And Bermuda, a 26% chance. So again, it is going to be making that northeastern turn through the Bahamas and through the portions of Cuba, and then eventually potentially impacting Bermuda there. And looking at the latest American ensembles, same on there. Looking at the latest European AI model run, it does slam into western Jamaica, looks to be around Westmoreland or St. Elizabeth, before it moves through Cuba, just west of Santiago de Cuba, and then moves through the central Bahamas there, and then moves just to the west of Bermuda there, goes out to sea, but it does impact parts of the Azores Islands within the next 10 days. They could get impacts from the system, but that's a little bit far out to be talking about just yet in terms of more specifics. Now let's look at the latest high-resolution hurricane models on what they want the system to do. This is the latest HAFS-A model run, currently showing it a little bit weaker than what it is right now. So expectations are actually going to be a little bit, the storm could intensify faster than expectations from these models. So it does have the system stalling south of Jamaica there as a powerful hurricane. Category 4 or 5 slams into Jamaica there as a Category 4. Looks to slam into Clarendon on this run, bringing devastating storm surge for parts of St. Catherine, Kingston. Right here, this would be devastating and catastrophic impacts for Kingston and St. Andrew parishes there. Moves through Jamaica and then slams into Cuba there as a Category 4 or Category 3 strength system right there. After passing through there, it does weaken to a Category 2 or 3 before slamming into the Bahamas, and then eventually, finally, they're beginning to move away from land. In terms of timing, the landfall timing here does have it making landfall at Tuesday at around 7 a.m. for you all in Jamaica. Alright, now looking at the latest HAFS-B model run on this system, this is a different model. Let's see what it wants right now. It's a little bit, again, not really, it's a little bit underdoing its intensification here. So it does have it becoming a Category 4 strength system, potentially making landfall there at peak intensity. Almost looks like, yeah, potentially making landfall as a Category 5 in Jamaica there. This one has it making landfall in around Clarendon or Manchester, bringing devastating storm surge for Clarendon, St. Catherine, potentially even St. Andrew and Kingston there, before it moves north there, bringing devastating storm surge for parts of St. Anne and St. Mary, before it slams into Cuba there as a Category 3 or 4, weakens a bit, makes landfall in the Bahamas as a Category 2 or 3, before it begins to move out to sea and then impact Bermuda there. Looking at the latest HWRF model run and what this wants, this is doing a little bit of a better job of its current intensity, has it intensifying to a Category 4, meanders just to the west of Jamaica, potentially making a landfall in Westmoreland or Andover, before it moves towards Cuba. They're making landfall as a Category 3 strength system, and makes landfall as a Category 2 or 3 in the Bahamas, before moving towards Bermuda after that. So this has it going a little bit more to the west, which is quite interesting to see. And the latest HMON model on this system, let's see what it wants right now, doing a little bit better of its current intensity, has it peaking out as a Category 4 or 5, slams into Jamaica as a Category 4 strength system, looks to be around Manchester or St. Elizabeth. Afterwards, it then makes landfall in Cuba there as a Category 3, and then plows through the Bahamas as a Category 3 as well. We also have Recon in the storm. We have 2 Recon planes currently flying into it, and we are going to be getting data on the northeastern quadrant. This is going to be what we've been waiting for, so we will see how strong it actually really is. Now let's talk about rainfall impacts from the system over the next 7 days. I do want to discuss some of the other islands here, and this isn't really doing a great job showing the rainfall forecast there, but for parts of Jamaica here, we can see the German run showing rainfall totals of up to 40 inches of rain for parts of Kingston and parts of Old Harbor Bay, really anywhere the southern parishes of Jamaica there. The European run shows a much better idea here. Mainly the eastern portions of the island gets those heavier rainfalls, and the western portions look to get spared a little bit more. Now, again, the forecast here does show major impacts happening for western Jamaica. Why is that? It's because it could be hitting as a major hurricane there. Even if the rains aren't major status there, it could be making landfall as a major hurricane in terms of winds. So I do want to discuss more on the National Hurricane Center and their key messages of the system. So, this is as of the 5 p.m. updates, 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time update. Jamaica, a multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall is expected to begin tonight, causing catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. Extensive infrastructural damage, long duration of power and communication outages, and potentially prolonged isolation of communities is likely. A life-threatening storm surge is also likely along portions of the southeastern coast early next week. All preparations should be completed by today. Alright, so you're out of time by tonight. Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and potentially prolonged isolation of communities. Strong winds could also potentially last for a day or more over the southwestern peninsula. For the Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall could produce catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in southern portions of the country. And now for the eastern Cuba, southeastern Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, you all need to be monitoring the system closely as there is an increasing risk of a significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. A hurricane watch is now in effect for portions of eastern Cuba. Now, looking at the wind speed probabilities here, you can see wind speed probabilities are increasing for the southeastern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands there. For tropical storm force winds, now over 60% in some of those areas. And looking at the forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center, it does have it making landfall. Looks like early on Tuesday morning for parts of Jamaica, slams into parts of Cuba still as a major hurricane. Looks like in between Tuesday and Wednesday. Moves through the Bahamas on Wednesday afternoon, and then finally moves in the southwestern Atlantic on late on Thursday. Could be approaching Bermuda on Friday. Now, I do want to discuss this rainfall forecast here, since this is quite important. I'm going to be discussing first the Dominican Republic, those impacts there. So for the Dominican Republic, some of these areas and portions of northern Dominican Republic could see only 25 to 50 millimeters, and that does also include the eastern portions of the Dominican Republic. Not a whole lot there. Now, for a majority of the eastern portions and northern portions of the Dominican Republic, could see 50 to 100 millimeters, and then this yellow color, at least 100 millimeters of rain there. Some of these other areas in this orangish color could see over 200 millimeters of rain. That's why you could be seeing moderate to major or even catastrophic impacts. Some of these areas in red are showing over 300 millimeters of rain, and this dark red color shows 400 millimeters of rain, and they could see isolated totals of over 500 millimeters of rain. That's why they could see catastrophic impacts. Now moving over to Haiti, the northeastern portion could see only 25 to 50 millimeters, with the northern portions getting around 50 to 100 millimeters. The northwestern and central portions could see anywhere from 100 to 200 millimeters of rain, and the southeastern portions could see anywhere from 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. Parts of the central southwestern peninsula of Haiti could see 400 to 500 millimeters of rain, with the southwestern portions of Haiti they're getting 500 to 750 millimeters of rain, with some areas potentially getting over 750 millimeters of rain. That's why you could be seeing catastrophic impacts there. Now let's discuss Jamaica here. The western portions, including Andover and Westmoreland, are only expected to get around 2 to 4 inches of rain, with some areas around St. James looking to get around 4 to 6 inches of rain. West or east there in parts of Trelawney and St. Elizabeth looks to be getting around 6 to 8 inches, maybe even higher amounts. And portions of around St. Anne, Manchester, Clarendon, those areas, anywhere from 8 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible there. Moving east to portions of St. Mary and St. Catherine, looks to be above 20 inches of rain, and portions of western St. Andrew and western Kingston. Looking at eastern St. Mary, eastern St. Andrew, and eastern Kingston there, could see over 30 inches of rain, and that does also include Portland and St. Thomas, all getting above 30 inches of rain now being forecasted for the entire parish there. In some areas, it's possible you could see up to 40 inches of rain in some of those areas in parts of eastern St. Mary, eastern St. Andrew, eastern Kingston, the entirety of Portland, and the entirety of St. Thomas. All right, that is the rainfall forecast for Jamaica. Now, looking at parts of Cuba here, a large portion of Cuba could see at least 25 millimeters of rain, with the southeastern portions getting at least 50 to 100 millimeters of rain there. Far eastern Cuba, there are some areas here that could see as much as 300 to 400 millimeters of rain, although that is kind of a lower confidence forecast. Parts of the far southern Bahamas could see up to around 200 millimeters of rain, and the Turks and Caicos Islands could see anywhere from 25 to up to 100 millimeters of rain there. Portions of the southeastern Bahamas could see again around 100 to 150 millimeters of rain over the next 4 days. That is a look at the rainfall forecast across the Caribbean here from the system. Very catastrophic impacts being caused by it. Right, now let's go into the radar imagery from the system. Let's see if we can get a new look at it. See, it might be broken. Yes, it looks to be broken on here. But let's talk about the forecast on where it's going to be going and looking at these super ensemble clusters. This shows a good idea of the probability that you could see impacts from the system. The current consensus does have it slamming into Jamaica, looks like around Manchester, bringing devastating storm surge for Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and even St. Andrew in Kingston. And then moves east towards towards Cuba and the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands and off towards Bermuda. So chances of getting impacts, this blue coloring looks to be around a 5% chance that you could get like a direct hit from the system. That's mainly what it means. So it doesn't really include Canada anymore. It's becoming more certain that it's not going to be impacting you there, but it now is highlighting parts of Bermuda there. So chances of getting impacts, I'd highlight this area as a 5% chance really that you'll see impacts from this system. And in this greenish color, bluish green color, that's around a 1/3 chance that you could see impacts, and that now is including Bermuda there on here, and then parts of course, Jamaica as well, getting in that. And then this area here highlighted in this yellow coloring is around a 2/3 chance. So again, the chances there of it impacting the Bahamas are increasing. So you all need to be preparing if you live in the southeastern Bahamas. Again, the Jamaica there, catastrophic impacts for the eastern portions of Jamaica. Now let's look at the latest Google AI Ensemble members here, what it wants. This is the 12 Zulu forecast. Out of all of the 50 Ensemble members, let's take a look. How many don't want a landfall? Only one member does not want a landfall out of the system, so that is a 90% chance, 98% chance that it's going to be making landfall in Jamaica, according to the Google AI Ensemble members. So there's only a 2% chance it doesn't make a direct impact, but that would still be delivering major impacts across Jamaica. So regardless of where it goes, it will be delivering major to catastrophic impacts across Jamaica. Now let's discuss more on the probabilities of where it will be making landfall. Which parish could see a landfall from this system? Looking at St. Thomas, it's around a 4% chance of a landfall there. In parts of Kingston and St. Andrew, looks to be around a 2% chance of it making landfall there. Now looking at portions of St. Catherine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's around a 14% chance of it making landfall there. Looking over here for portions of, let's see, this would be St. Catherine. No, sorry, not St. Catherine, in Clarendon. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So around a 14% chance of it making landfall there. Looking west now towards Manchester, it's around, let's see, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So around a 34% chance that it's going to be making landfall in Manchester. St. Elizabeth looks to be around a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% chance, or 14, that would be around a 28% chance that it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth. Looking west into Westmoreland there, the remaining parish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them have it making landfall there, so around a 16% chance there. And then looking at portions of Westmoreland or Andover, it's around a 2% chance that it makes a landfall there. So there's a look at the probabilities that it could make landfall in your parish. It's looking most likely it will be making landfall in either St. Elizabeth, Manchester, or St. Catherine, or really anywhere from St. Elizabeth to St. Catherine, although there are still probabilities it could make landfall in St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Thomas, as well as Westmoreland. Really anywhere from Westmoreland to around St. Catherine. Anywhere in between those two areas looks like it could be seeing a landfall. In portions of eastern areas. Now, I do want to discuss something actually with this. I do want to discuss the storm surge threat. Since a storm surge of, let's see, what was it being forecasted by the Hurricane Center? It was over 10 feet being forecasted for parts of Jamaica. Let's discuss the impacts from the system. So wind tropical storm conditions are expected to begin in Jamaica by tonight, with hurricane conditions expected by Sunday or Monday. Tropical storm conditions are expected and hurricane conditions possible within the watch and warning area in Haiti later today. Hurricane conditions are possible in the watch area in eastern Cuba on Tuesday into Wednesday. Rainfall, Melissa is expected to bring total rainfall of 15 to 30 inches to portions of southern Haiti and Jamaica into Wednesday, with local maximum of 40 inches possible. Additional heavy rainfall is likely beyond Wednesday, but exact storm totals are still uncertain. Catastrophic flash flooding and landslides are probable across portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica. For eastern Cuba, total rainfall of 6 to 12 inches with local amounts of 18 inches are expected into Wednesday, resulting in life-threatening flash flooding and landslides. Additional heavy rain is likely beyond Wednesday, but exact storm totals are still uncertain. Storm surge. Life-threatening storm surge is becoming more likely along the south coast of Jamaica later in the weekend or early next week. Peak storm surge heights could reach 9 to 13 feet above ground level, near to into the east over the center of Melissa makes landfall. The storm surge will be accompanied by large and destructive waves. Then there is a potential for significant storm surge along the southeastern coast of Cuba early next week. And of course, surf swells generated by Melissa are expected to affect portions of Hispaniola, Jamaica, and eastern Cuba during the next several days. Please consult products from your local weather office. Let's see, that is from that. Let's see, who made the discussion? Papan. Okay. Just trying to see. This is quite interesting. Okay, there we go. And let's see. I was going to be discussing more about the storm surge. So areas in Jamaica, it really all depends on where the center of it actually makes landfall here. And we'll show this to you all right on here. Now, if it makes landfall, let's say right over here in the Hurricane Center forecast, that would be bringing devastating storm surge for parts of Clarendon and St. Catherine there, and not as much for just areas to the west. Looking more to the farther outs there, if it makes landfall there, looks to be bringing some moderate to devastating storm surge for parts of Kingston and St. Andrew, and nothing really going on to the west there. And I'm just going to be bringing some of this yellow coloring as well, kind of just showing you all the severity of the storm surge here, and this basically shows a good idea on where it makes landfall will really depend on, or the storm surge depends on where it makes landfall here. If it goes to the west of the forecast cone, still bringing very bad storm surge for parts of Westmoreland, and minor storm surge there for parts of St. Elizabeth and Manchester. If it makes landfall there in Westmoreland, it would be bringing devastating storm surge or catastrophic storm surge for parts of St. Elizabeth, with major storm surge happening in Manchester and Clarendon, with more than minor storm surge happening in areas, or not minor, I'd say moderate storm surge happening in portions of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. If it makes landfall now in St. Elizabeth, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to portions of Manchester and Clarendon, with some major storm surge happening in St. Catherine. Still bringing moderate storm surge for parts of Kingston and St. Thomas on this. And if it makes landfall in Manchester, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge for Clarendon and portions of St. Catherine. The rest of St. Catherine gets major storm surge, and parts of Kingston and St. Andrew get major or moderate storm surge, and portions of St. Thomas, or the entirety of St. Thomas, gets moderate storm surge on this. In areas to the west, don't get really anything at all in terms of storm surge. Now, if it makes landfall in Clarendon, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to St. Catherine and potentially portions of Kingston and St. Andrew. And this is near the Hurricane Center forecast. So if this verifies, a catastrophic storm surge will be possible in portions of Kingston and St. Andrew, with some moderate or major storm surge still happening throughout the rest of there in western St. Thomas, with some moderate storm surge as well happening for eastern St. Thomas. Now, if it makes landfall in St. Catherine, it would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to Kingston and St. Andrew, regardless. Really, they will be bringing catastrophic storm surge there if it does make landfall there. And it will be still bringing major storm surge impacts to portions of St. Thomas. If it makes landfall in Kingston and St. Andrew, would be really bringing the catastrophic storm surge for portions of western St. Thomas. And depending on where it makes landfall, if it does in St. Thomas, it would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to the east there. If it just moves to the east, that would be sparing those areas in terms of storm surge. Now let's talk about the northern areas. If it escapes just to the northern area, northwest of the Jamaica, none of the areas in the northern portions would be getting any storm surge really at all. If it exits Jamaica and around Hanover and around the St. James border, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge for portions of Hanover. If it exits around St. James, that would also be bringing catastrophic storm surge to Hanover and around major portions of our major storm surge in western Hanover. If it exits Jamaica and around Trelawney, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to St. James and major storm surge to Hanover. If it exits at around St. Anne, that would be bringing a catastrophic storm surge to Trelawney and major storm surge to St. James and around moderate storm surge for Andover. If it exits around St. Anne, that would be bringing catastrophic storm surge to St. Anne, and this is most in line with a Hurricane Center forecast. So this is the most likely case scenario. Catastrophic storm surge in St. Anne, major storm surge for Trelawney, and around moderate storm surge for St. James and Andover. Looking to the east, though, not really any impacts for St. Mary and Portland. If it exits at around St. Mary, though, it would still be bringing catastrophic storm surge to St. Mary and and portions of eastern St. Anne. Western portions of St. Anne get around major storm surge storm surge amounts, and looking west of that, Trelawney and St. James looks to get around moderate impacts there. And then lastly, if it exits Portland, it would be bringing those catastrophic storm surge amounts to Portland and St. Mary, and some of these areas west with St. Anne getting around. Really, St. Mary getting major impacts from storm surge, and west of there, St. Anne and Trelawney gets at least moderate storm surge amounts there. Really, all depends on where it moves, but confidence is growing as to where it's going to be striking. Alright, so that's a look at the storm surge threats from the system. Again, the Google AI Ensemble members, let's look at Cuba now. Every single member, so there's a 100% chance that it makes a landfall somewhere in Cuba. At least from the Google AI Ensemble members there. I will be learning more about the Cuban provinces, and I might do that now or in a moment. I'll probably discuss that a lot more by tomorrow. The Cuban provinces, learning more about those, the southern ones. But Santiago de Cuba there, it really all depends on where it makes that landfall. Could you be seeing major storm surge from this system? Looks like more likely than not you will be seeing a major storm surge from this system. Now, speaking of storm surge, let's discuss the storm surge in more detail. Let me do this. Okay. All right. Now I know that there are some people joining in, so I do want to discuss. Again the forecast from this system. Again, it is expected to meander a little bit to the southwest, become a Category 3 by tomorrow morning, Category 4 by tomorrow night, and Category 5 by Monday night. It will be approaching the coast of Jamaica on Tuesday morning as a Category 4 or higher and making landfall sometime on Tuesday morning in Jamaica. It will be then exiting Jamaica by Tuesday night as a Category 4 and slamming into into Cuba on either Tuesday or Wednesday. By Wednesday night, it will be plowing through the Bahamas, and by Thursday night, it will be exiting there still as a major hurricane. And by Friday, it's going to be nearing, Friday night, it will be nearing Bermuda. And Saturday night, it will still be a hurricane. So now discussing more about impacts, the entirety of Hispaniola will be seeing moderate impacts from this system, as well as portions of the southeastern and central Bahamas will be seeing that as well. I'm going to see real quick what is considered Bahamas. Central Bahamas. Okay, what is considered? Let's see here. Is this it? Okay, northwestern Bahamas, southeastern Bahamas, and central Bahamas. Okay. So southeastern and central Bahamas, that does make landfall in the southeastern Bahamas, but still some of the central Bahamas as well gets hit by that. I just wanted to see that. And in terms of, marginal impacts there, including the Cayman Islands as well, and of course the entirety of Jamaica getting at least marginal impacts. Parts of southwestern Dominican Republic gets at least slight impacts, and portions of the Turks and Caicos Islands and the southeastern and central Bahamas and southeastern Cuba there, and Jamaica getting at least slight impacts from this storm. Now moving up to the moderate category, that will include southwestern Dominican Republic as well as southern Haiti, the western portions of the southeastern Bahamas and portions of the central southeastern Bahamas there, as well as portions of southeastern Cuba and the entirety of Jamaica there as well. Now, going over to the possibility of major impacts, that does include some of the southeastern Bahamian islands, as well as portions of southeastern Cuba, at least, or the possibility of major impacts. Now, the areas that are forecasted to see major impacts are going to be southwestern Dominican Republic, southern Haiti, and portions of the coast of southeastern Cuba, and the entirety of Jamaica there in that major category. Some areas could see the possibility of extreme or catastrophic impacts, and that does include the southern portions of the Dominican Republic as well as the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, and portions of the eastern Jamaica there, mainly including St. Ann and Clarendon there, and the possibility of extreme or catastrophic impacts. And there are two areas forecasted to get catastrophic impacts. That is the southwestern peninsula of Haiti and the eastern portions of Jamaica, which does include St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, Kingston, and Portland, all in that catastrophic impact zone. So that's a look at the latest forecast there. Now I do want to discuss the storm surge impacts from this system, so let's take a look at that. So let's pull this up. In terms of forward motion, by the time it impacts Jamaica, let's go to Jamaica here. It will be moving towards the north. Let's see, is it going to be moving north to northeast? Really more to the north, looks like. I'd say north to northeast. Category 4 strength system, and moving at around 5 miles an hour, and it would be high tide here. Let's draw a map here, looking at the kind of impacts that you could be getting across Jamaica here. Anything in that red coloring is above 9 feet of above ground level sea level rise. And it all depends on where the center of the system makes landfall. If it makes landfall to the east of Black River, this would not be as high. If it makes the landfall to the west of Black River, this would be much, or this would verify. Looking at portions of Hunter's Village, this whole area could be underwater, and portions of Clarendon could be completely underwater. Some of these villages along the coast could be completely inundated, especially around Old Arbor Bay. Really catastrophic storm surge totals there. Sea level rise of 13 to 14 feet being forecasted there, and it all depends on where it makes that landfall. Around Kingston, some of these areas could see some of these areas could see as high as 12 to 13 feet of sea level rise, especially some of these areas along western St. Andrew, southwestern St. Andrew there. Areas in red again are 9 feet of sea level rise or more above ground level. Eastern areas not affected as much. It's really going to be a landslide threat for you there. And let's look at portions of the northwestern areas of Jamaica. Not as much there. Man, I really need to start making these kind of forecasts for storm surge totals. But again, 9 to 13 feet of storm surge is forecasted by the National Hurricane Center for portions of Jamaica. Now let's answer some questions. Oh yeah, we are almost at 3.9 thousand subscribers. We're 7 away. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as it really helps out a lot. I try to get this information to as many people as possible, and subscribing really helps, and it also helps keep you updated. So let's answer some questions now from the system. Yes, that vertical heat tower there is wrapping around the system right over here, completing the wrap there, really wrapping, and you can start to see the eye now popping up on the latest frames there. Really concerning there. Perfect shrimp-like look. It's beginning to rapidly intensify, and by tomorrow morning, this will likely be a major hurricane, category 3 or 4 by then. Will Berlin be okay? Let's see, what area is that in Jamaica? Let's see, you're asking about Berlin. That area, that is going to be in around St. Elizabeth. That area, in terms of the forecast, or let's see, let me zoom in again. Let me pull this up again. Berlin, Jamaica, could see impacts really as early as tomorrow morning with some of those outer rain bands. Really picks up on Monday. Let's see, what model run is this? This is the Icon German run. Let me pull up the European run instead. So yeah, impacts will be beginning early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. You still have time to prepare if you haven't already, but it picks up on Monday. So by the time, you need to complete your preparations by tomorrow night at the latest. The earlier, the better. Monday is when really Monday into Tuesday is when it's peaking out, so really don't be doing anything on Monday or Tuesday, but it does seem to calm down on Tuesday night for you there. In terms of total impacts from this system, let's discuss the wind. or the rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center, they're forecasting around 6 to 8 inches of rain. The European runs are forecasting 10 inches of rain. The American run showing 6 inches, and the German run showing up to 30 inches of rain. So really anywhere from, I'd say, around 6 to 30 inches of rain could occur for you there in Berlin. In terms of winds, you could see anywhere from, let's see what the various model runs want in terms of winds. This is from the German run, showing up to around 80 miles an hour of winds there. The American run, let's see what that's showing. 60 mile an hour winds, and the European run showing around 80 mile an hour winds there for you. So I think I'm going to show the European run since that's the high end for portions of western or central Jamaica. This will probably do a better job. It's really not doing a great job of its in high-end intensity right now, but this is what's being forecasted from the European run. You are expected to get major impacts from the storm in Berlin, Jamaica. Is there a high chance of a tropical cyclone forming near India? Yes, that is Invest 94B. We can take a quick look at that. Let me see if the recon data is out yet for this. Okay, it's about to intercept the storm, and we got one on the eastern side there. So we're getting another 2 passes on the storm any moment now. And let's take a look at 94B. Briefly, we are code orange for 94B, and we are code purple for Melissa. So I do want to discuss this system very briefly, since this will be posing a flash flood threat for India. It is looking a little bit better. Could be a tropical cyclone at any moment with a lot of these flare-ups of convection. So it's starting to get a little bit better organized. It does have a broad circulation, and it is starting to tighten that. That it will be moving to the northwest there. Around 100% chance that this does become a tropical cyclone. We'll be making landfall somewhere in southeastern India, mainly central eastern India there, and then moving through the country there, posing a flood threat along there. That is 94B. Just wanted to cover that briefly, and let's go back to questions on the system. Whoops, okay. Let's see here. Very detailed update. Thanks, of course. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps out a lot. We are 2 away from 3.9 thousand. Please help me reach there. That'd be amazing. St. James. Let's look at St. James province, or a parish, excuse me. St. James could see wind gusts of around 50 to 60 mile an hour winds are being forecasted from the European run. You are expected to get major impacts from there. And let's discuss the rainfall forecast. From the Hurricane Center, they are predicting anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of rain for you. The European run for St. James is predicting around 5 to 6 inches of rain. The American run looks to be forecasting around, 4 to 6 inches of rain. And the German run around 2 to 4 inches of rain. So I'd say anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of rain could fall in St. James. Yes, the system is expected to become a Category 5 storm by Monday. By Monday nights is what I'm forecasting. Could happen even earlier at this rate. Montego Bay, we can discuss that. Let's see, Montego Bay. It's Montego Bay, I believe. Let's see. So impacts beginning as early as tomorrow. Could be scattered thunderstorms, whatever. Scattered to numerous thunderstorms, but really picks up on. Looks to be picking up on Sunday and Monday. Really, you're going to be out of time by Monday. As conditions, tropical storm force or gale force gust will be happening as early as tomorrow with the system. Looks like the conditions peak out sometime on Monday and Tuesday, but they do calm down on Wednesday, and still some isolated thunderstorms are possible on Thursday with some outer rain bands. Now, in terms of impacts from the system, the National Hurricane Center is predicting around 2 to 4 inches of rain for you there. The European run is forecasting around 4 inches of rain. The American run around 4 inches, and the German run around 2 inches. So I'd say 2 to 4 inches of rain is going to be possible for you there in Montego Bay. Major impacts, though, are still forecasted for you for the potential of this slamming into you as a major hurricane. Wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour, 50 to 60 mile an hour are forecasted for you from the various model runs. Let's see, what other questions? Is it Category 2 now? Yes, rapidly intensifying. How much storm surge for Cuba? Let's look at that. Cuba, is this on here? Is that an area? Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Can't really forecast storm surge for Cuba just yet. Really wish I could. Okay. I know that there's other models. I'm going to search this up. Storm Surge International Storm Surge Model. Let's see. Not really seeing anything. I know that there was this one website for sea level rise, but I'm trying to find it. Looking for it just off stream. Cannot really find any good storm surge maps for Cuba. It's a little bit far out to be talking about storm surge for you there. Alright. Next question. Let's see, night, will Clark's Hill, Stony Hill be okay? I'll search that area up. That's a long name, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it. If you mean Clarkstown, looking at Clarkstown there, impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, or already right now, potentially. With some of those outer rain bands, scattered thunderstorms are possible. Even gale force winds are going to be possible for you through tomorrow. Picks up on Monday and peaks out overnight Monday into Tuesday. Seems to calm down by Wednesday. Still some isolated thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, in terms of wind gusts, forecasted to be around 60 miles an hour from the various model runs. And from the, in terms of rainfall forecast for you there, looks to be 6 to 8 inches from the Hurricane Center. In terms of the European run showing 8 inches, American run 10 inches, and the German run 4 inches. So I'd really say 4 to 10 inches of rain could fall for you there. So we have a question for Portmore. See, Portmore, oh, okay, Portmore is a city. Okay, yeah, Portmore is near Kingston. So let's discuss this area here. As they could see some very devastating impacts from the system. They are expected to get, Portmore is expected to get extreme or catastrophic impacts from the system. Okay, so impacts could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Looks to peak out at around Tuesday morning, but really gets bad on Monday. So if you haven't already, get your preparations completed by tomorrow. You will be running out of time because by the time you wake up on Monday, there will be already gale force gust with the system. And it looks to be peaking out on Tuesday, and then it calms down significantly on Wednesday and Thursday. A lot less rain then. In terms of rainfall from the system, the National Hurricane Center for you is forecasting 20 to 30 inches of rain. There, the European run's forecasting 17 inches. The American run's forecasting up to 30 inches of rain, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain for you there. So really, anywhere from I'd say 20 to 35 inches of rain will be possible for you there. Wind gust from the various model runs. The German run, whoops. I'm sorry, that's winds. Let me do wind accumulations. German run showing up to around 90 miles an hour for you there. American run up to around, let's see, what's it showing? Up to around 80 miles an hour, and the European run up to 100 mile an hour winds are forecasted for you there. Maypen, Clarendon. Let's see, Maypen over there in Clarendon. That looks to be around central Clarendon. Alright, so impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, if they aren't already, with some of those outer rain bands, nearly gale force gust happening. But by Monday, it really starts to deteriorate with those gale force and storm force gust. Make sure you get your preparations completed by tomorrow night if you haven't already. Really deteriorates on Monday and into Tuesday, peaks out on Tuesday morning before calming down by Tuesday night, and Wednesday and Thursday much nicer with just some isolated showers or thunderstorms being possible. Looking at the rainfall or the wind forecast, the European run showing up to 120 mile an hour winds there, the American run up to 80 mile an hour winds, and the German run around 80 mile an hour winds there as well. You are expected to get here in Maypen the major impacts with the possibility of extreme or catastrophic impacts, mainly in the form of rain. Let's discuss that. So the National Hurricane Center is forecasting for you in Clarendon there, Maypen, up to 16 to 20 inches of rain. With the various model runs, the European run forecasting up to 30, or the German run up to 30 inches of rain, the American run up to 20 inches, and the European run up to 20 inches. I'd say anywhere from 16 to 30 inches of rain will be possible for you there in Maypen. So we have a question for Westmoreland. Let's discuss that. Westmoreland up here. The various model runs here show anywhere from an inch to, let's see, around 10 inches from the German run, up to 3 inches on the American run, and up to 3 inches on the European run. Hurricane Center is forecasting 2 to 4 inches, so I'd really say 1 to 4 inches of rain is forecasted for you in Westmoreland. The winds, though, could be devastating from this system. Currently forecasted, really not that bad from the models. Only around 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 60 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 70 being forecasted to you there. But any shift to the west, and you could be dealing with a major hurricane here. That's why major impacts are expected for you there in portions of western, Westmoreland. Let's see, not the possibility of extreme or catastrophic impacts. That does not include you, fortunately. If that's any good news for you there. How much damage will it be in the Turks and Caicos Islands? Well, the Turks and Caicos Islands are currently being forecasted to see slight impacts from this system. Nothing too severe, but any shifts to the east and you could be looking at major impacts from this system. Currently only slight impacts. Oh boy, okay. Let's see, 3.9 thousand subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Let's see if we can reach 3.91k. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Really helps out a lot. I keep doing my best to keep providing you guys updates. Waltham Park Road, Kingston. Let's see, I can probably search that up. I will see if I can find Kingston. I'll just do Kingston for you. Kingston, in terms of impacts there, could begin as early as, of course, tomorrow, and by tomorrow night, really picking up with some gale force gust. Get your preparations completed by tomorrow night. Just know that tomorrow there will be some isolated to scattered thunderstorms possible. Really bad on Monday and peaks out on Tuesday before calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Really, really better on Wednesday and Thursday. Only some isolated showers or thunderstorms possible then. In terms of the wind forecast, up to 100 mile an hour winds are forecasted from the European run, American run showing up to 80, and the German run up to 100 mile an hour winds there. Anywhere from 80 to 100 mile an hour winds are being forecasted for you there. In terms of the rainfall forecast, National Hurricane Center is forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain. The European run up to 35, or the German run up to 35 inches of rain. American run up to 30 inches of rain, and the European run up to 20 inches of rain. Really, 20 to 40 inches of rain is possible for you in Kingston. That's why you are forecasted to see catastrophic impacts from the system. Hi, Blessed. I remember you from the previous streams. Albert Town, please. Right? I will go right ahead and do that now. Albert Town, that is going to be up here. And that is looked like in Trelawney. Let's see here. So impacts as early as tomorrow with some isolated thunderstorms possible. Picks up on Monday with some gale force gust. And really peaks out on Monday and Tuesday. It's still bad on Wednesday with some isolated thunderstorms possible, but much better on Thursday with only a chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. Now, in terms of forecasted rainfall totals, the Hurricane Center is forecasting, I'm just looking off screen real quick, looks to be around 8 inches of rain they're forecasting for you. European run here showing 9 inches of rain. American run around 15 inches of rain as a maximum, and the European run around 6 inches. So it's a 6 to 15 inches of rain could fall for you in Albert Town. And in terms of wind gusts, German run showing around 70 mile an hour winds, American run around 70, and the European run around 60. So 60 to 70 mile an hour winds are forecasted for you there. In terms of impacts here, major impacts are being forecasted for you there. You are not in the area of possibility of extreme to catastrophic impacts just yet, fortunately. If that's any good news for you. Let's go to the next question. Will the east of Jamaica be affected? Yes, eastern Jamaica here will be seeing extreme and catastrophic impacts from this system. So yes, they will be impacted. Yes, Melissa's intensifying into a Category 2 currently, now having hurricane warnings in these countries. Haiti and Jamaica, yes. Not hurricane warning for Haiti, though. Let's see, yes. Pray for Jamaica, yes. Let's see, guys. I'm getting to your comments. Update on Melissa. It is currently has winds of, I believe, 100 mile an hour wind, so it is a Category 2. How much will Rockfort be affected? I will search that up now. Let's see, Rockford here, just east of Kingston, could see impacts as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Looks like isolated scattered thunderstorms possible. Really picks up overnight, and on Monday looks to be the worst day for you there. Monday and Tuesday morning calms down on a Tuesday afternoon for you all there, and really much better on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of the rainfall forecast for you, 30 to 40 inches are being forecasted for you by the National Hurricane Center. European run showing only around 20 inches, the American run showing up to 30 inches, and the German run up to 35 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. That's why you are forecasted to see catastrophic impacts from this system. In terms of wind gusts from the various model runs, the German run shows around 110-mile-an-hour winds, American run around 80, and the European run around 90. So really 80 to 110-mile-an-hour winds are being forecasted for you from the various model runs. Which part of Jamaica is the eye expected to pass? That is quite uncertain. Here's a look at the latest Google AI Ensemble members. Let me see if it's updated. Nope, not yet. It's looking most likely it will slam somewhere in between St. Catherine and St. Elizabeth, or no, Westmoreland. Really, somewhere in between there is the most likely case scenario of direct impacts, or like of a direct landfall. But we will know more by tomorrow. Almost all the ensemble members except for one have it making landfall, so it's a 98% chance of it making a landfall. See, what about Kingston? I'll discuss that again. So Kingston's still same as the other area there around Rockford. Kingston here could see impacts as early as tomorrow with some isolated or scattered thunderstorms. Picks up on Monday with some gale force gusts, and really picks up with a hurricane force gust later on Monday night. Um, and then looks to calm down by Tuesday. Much calmer on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for you there, looks like. At least on this run. It may still be bad on Tuesday, though. I want to reiterate that. In terms of rain accumulations, let's see, National Hurricane Center's forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain for you there. European runs around 20 inches. American runs around 30 inches, and the German runs around 35 inches of rain. So really, 20 to 40 inches of rain is possible for you in Kingston. In terms of wind gust, European runs or German run showing up to 100-mile-an-hour winds, American run around 80, and the European run around 100. So I'd say around 80 to 100-mile-an-hour winds are possible for you there in Kingston, at least from the models. Still, though, you are expected to get catastrophic impacts from this system in Kingston. How about St. Anne's? We're having rain right now. Ooh, okay, let's see. St. Anne's right over there. Yes, I can see some of those outer rain bands impacting you already from the system. So let's discuss St. Anne's impacts. National Hurricane Center for you is expecting around 6 to 20 inches of rain across St. Anne. And let's look at the various model runs and what they want. Let's see, so St. Anne's starts roughly around here-ish, looks like. So St. Anne could see anywhere from, let's see, around 10 to 20 inches of rain from the European run. American run around 15 to 25 inches of rain possible there. And the German run around the similar total. So it looks like around, I'd say around 6 to 20 inches of rain are possible for you in St. Anne. Wind gust, let's see here. This is from the German run up to 70 to 90 mile-an-hour winds forecasted there. American run around 70 to 80 mile-an-hour winds, and the European run around 60 to 100 mile-an-hour winds forecasted for you in St. Anne. Let's see, what about Portmore? Let's see, Portmore's over here. So Portmore, in terms of impacts, the timing of impacts for you there could begin as early as tomorrow with some outer rain bands. But really picks up on Monday with gale force winds happening by the morning, and then by the evening you're already getting hurricane force gust from this system. So really get your preparations completed by tomorrow night if you haven't already. That's your last chance to do so before it gets too dangerous. Really devastating rainfall totals looks like on this run. 8 inches in 3 hours there for some areas. 14 inches in 6 hours looks like. But then it calms down later on Tuesday, and really nothing bad on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see, in terms of rainfall forecast, you're expected to get 20 to 30 inches of rain from the National Hurricane Center, and the various model runs from rain accumulations, European runs showing up to 20 inches of rain, American runs up to 30 inches of rain, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain. So I'd honestly say 20 to 35 inches of rain are possible for you there in Portmore. Looks like there you will be seeing catastrophic slash extreme impacts from this system. See, guys, I don't think you guys can evacuate just yet because I think that I think that airports are closed. So I don't think you guys can evacuate anymore in terms of off the island. Unfortunately, you guys need to be if you can't, you need to be hunkering down. Get to somewhere more safe. In terms of if you're in a flood-prone area, get to somewhere else. Now, I do want to discuss this forecast in more detail here. So, in terms of, or I'll discuss the or you know what, yeah, I'm going to discuss this again here, showing kind of what's going to be happening with the system. So the entirety of Hispaniola is going to be seeing at least marginal impacts, including the Turks and Caicos Islands and the southeastern and central and parts of the northwestern Bahamas, and also parts of the southern half of Cuba, as well as the Cayman Islands, all seeing marginal impacts from the system. Slight impacts are going to be possible for southwestern Dominican Republic, western Haiti, the entirety of the Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as the southeastern and central Bahamas there, highlighted in the slight category, as well as Cuba and Jamaica, all at least slight impacts from the system. In terms of moderate impacts, that does include southwestern Dominican Republic, Haiti, the portions of the southeastern and central Bahamas, as well as portions of southeastern Cuba and again Jamaica. Looking at the possibility of major impacts, that does include the central Bahamas and southeastern Bahamas, as well as southeastern Cuba. And looking at what is forecasted to see major impacts, southern Cuba is now being forecasted to see major impacts. The entirety of Jamaica still being forecasted to see major impacts, as well as southwestern Dominican Republic, as well as western Haiti. There is the possibility of catastrophic impacts in portions of St. Anne and Clarendon with this system, as well as portions of Manchester in Jamaica, as well as portions of the southwestern Dominican Republic and the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Now, there is catastrophic impacts being forecasted for St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrews, Kingston, Portland, and St. Thomas from the system, as well as the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, seeing catastrophic impacts. Now, intensity forecast is a Category 2 now, but it will be a Category 3 or 4 by tomorrow morning, becoming a Category 4 by tomorrow night, still a Category 4 or Category 5 by this would be Monday morning, and a Category 5 now being forecasted by Monday night, approaching Jamaica there, potentially making landfall on Tuesday morning, leaving Jamaica by Tuesday night, slamming into Cuba potentially overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, and slamming into the Bahamas or Turks and Caicos Islands on Tuesday or Wednesday night before leaving there. And here's where it's forecasted to be still a major hurricane by Wednesday night, or by Thursday night, excuse me. All right, let's answer some more questions now from the system. Yeah, 20 to 30 inches of rain here is devastating for this country, and some areas could see as high as 40 inches of rain from this. This is the most terrifying graphic I've ever seen from the Hurricane Center or Weather Prediction Center here. Up to 40 inches of rain possible for portions of eastern Jamaica. Let's see here. What about Melissa's impact on York near Morant Bay? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get to your questions. Let's see. York on York near Morant Bay. Let's see. I will search that up now. I can't find York in Jamaica, I don't think. No, I found it. I'll do Morant Bay, just to make it easier. I have Morant Bay. Let me find where York is on here. I'm sorry. I'm making sure I can find your area. I'm answering all your guys' questions. Just trying to see if I can. Okay, can't really find it on here. York Mountain, none of these areas. So I will do Morant Bay for you. Just the closest major city to your area. Impacts could begin as early as right now, really, with some of those outer isolated to scattered thunderstorms possible. Gale force winds or gale force gusts are possible as early as like in an hour or two, really. By tonight, it could begin. and really picks up on tomorrow. Some storm force gusts happening by Sunday night, and hurricane force gusts are going to be possible on Monday and Tuesday. Looks like it peaks out on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, before calming down by Tuesday night, and much better on Wednesday and Thursday, with only some isolated thunderstorms possible then. Now, you are forecasted to see catastrophic impacts from the system, so that's not great for you there. Um, in terms of rainfall forecast, the Hurricane Center is forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain for you there, with the European run forecasting 25 inches, American run at 30 inches of rain, and the European or German run of 40 inches of rain. So really, anywhere from 25 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in Morant Bay and York. Let's see, which part of the island will get the heaviest rainfall and the heaviest winds? Well, the heaviest rainfall looks to be happening in portions of eastern Jamaica there, where I highlighted the area for potentially catastrophic impacts. And that does include St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Thomas, Portland. All those areas are going to be seeing catastrophic impacts from the system. The rain's going to start and it's just not going to stop for many days or for many hours for you there and multiple days. Let's see what else here. How about Treasure Beach? Let's discuss that area. And guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're 2 away from 3.91K. Please, guys, help me reach that. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Let's see, Treasure Beach. Okay, Treasure Beach right down there. In terms of the impacts, looks like today's going to be calm. Monday's when it picks up with some gale force gust being possible, especially on Monday night. Maybe seeing some storm force gust on Tuesday. You are expected to get major impacts from the system, mainly due to the uncertainty of it. On Sunday, though, you still have time to prepare if you haven't already. Impacts, though, do start calming down on Wednesday and Thursday, though. Now, in terms of the rainfall forecast, National Hurricane Center is only forecasting 4 to 6 inches of rain for you there. The European run showing up to 8 inches of rain, the American run up to 6 inches of rain, and the German run up to 30 inches or 25 inches of rain. So really, anywhere from I'd say around 4 to 30 or 4 to 25 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in Treasure Beach. Again, that's why you could be seeing major impacts from this system. In terms of wind, it's a little bit more uncertain for you there. German run showing up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. American run, let's see if this loads, only around 70-mile-an-hour winds, and the European run up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. So really around 70 to 80-mile-an-hour winds are being forecasted for you by the various model runs. What about Portmore in St. Catherine? Let's take a look at that area. Portmore could be seeing impacts as early as tonight into tomorrow, but really picks up on Monday, with Monday night being the worst impacts for you there in Portmore, with some strong hurricane force gust. And again on Tuesday, but calms down over Tuesday, looks like, with Wednesday and Thursday only being a chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. In terms of the rainfall forecast, you are forecasted to see 20 to 30 inches of rain from this system, from the Hurricane Center, with the European run showing 20 inches, American run showing up to 30 inches of rain, and the German run showing up to 35 inches of rain. So I'd honestly be forecasting 20 to 35 inches of rain for you there. That's why you are expected to see extreme/catastrophic impacts from the system. In terms of wind gust, though, at least what the models are forecasting for you there. Let's see here. So around 90-mile-an-hour winds are being forecasted for you by the German run, American run up to 80-mile-an-hour winds, and the European run up to 100-mile-an-hour winds. But again, that could be much higher if this makes a direct landfall in your location. How much Clarendon will be affected? Clarendon is expected to see 16 to 20 inches of rain by the Hurricane Center. If you're in the northwestern portions, only around 8 inches, though. So 8 to 20 inches of rain, from the system. Clarendon, in terms of winds, up to around 120-mile-an-hour winds are being forecasted from the models, but that could be much higher. Depending on where you are in Clarendon, you could be seeing, you are expected to see here the possibility of extreme/catastrophic impacts from the system. And in terms of rainfall from the various model runs, again, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting around 8 to 20 inches of rain for you, with the European run showing up to 20 inches of rain. The American run here showing up to around 20 inches of rain, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain being possible for you there. So I'd really see anywhere from 8 to 35 inches of rain is going to be possible for you in Clarendon. What's it looking like for Spanish Town? We can discuss that. All right, so Spanish Town here, they are expected to, or let me just double check. Spanish Town is expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system. Impacts will begin as early as tomorrow morning with the system's outer bands. Could see some trop or gale force gusts with it. Really picks up on Monday, though, with a hurricane force gust, really the brunt of it impacting you on Monday night into Tuesday morning, looks like. It does calm down, though, by Tuesday, later on Tuesday, though, it looks like, at least from the European run. Maybe some isolated or scattered thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of rainfall, you are forecasted to see 20 to 30 inches of rain from the National Hurricane Center, with the European run showing 20 inches of rain, the American run showing 30 inches of rain, and the European run showing 30 inches of rain. So I'd really see, I'd agree with the Hurricane Center there, 20 to 30 inches of rain for you in Spanish Town. Now, in terms of wind gust, the German run here showing up to 90 mile an hour winds, American run up to 80, and the European run up to 110 mile an hour winds. So 80 to 110 mile an hour winds are being forecasted for you there from the various models. How unprecedented was the 5 p.m. advisory the National Hurricane Center issued? Very unprecedented. They forecasted a Category 5 when it was only a Category 1. That is historic there with this kind of system. Very high confidence, and they likely would not have done it if it wasn't for the Google AI Ensemble members. These kind of Ensemble members going incredibly bullish on this system, with over 80% of them wanting a Category 5. And this next updated will likely continue showing a Category 5 forecasted, probably for Monday morning. We are seeing the system moving a little bit more to the southwest of the forecast, almost exiting the cone of uncertainty, which will allow the system more time over water and will be intensifying even further. Could be more than just a minimal Category 5. Now, this may start shifting the forecast a little bit more to the west on portions of more western Jamaica, so really, that's why this area here is highlighted for major impacts, because we just don't really know where it's going to be going. Let's see, how will Falmouth be affected? Pull that up. Falmouth, in terms of impacts there, you are expected to see major impacts from the system. And looking more closely at it, let me pull this up. It looks like on Sunday getting some of those outer rain bands. Really bad, though, on Monday with some of those gale force winds and storm force winds happening throughout Monday into Tuesday. Calms down, though, on Tuesday. Still some outer rain bands impacting you on Wednesday. And Thursday, maybe some isolated showers and thunderstorms possible for you then. In terms of winds, around 50 to 60 mile an hour winds from the European run, up to 70 from the American run, and up to 70 from the German run. So it looks to be around 50 to 70 mile an hour winds forecasted for you from these model runs. But if it does shift to the west, you could be getting the brunt of the system, the core and the eye wall from it. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting, let's see, around 6 to 8 inches. The German run only around 3 inches of rain. American run around 7 inches of rain, and the European run around 7 inches of rain. So I'd say 3 to 8 inches of rain is going to be possible for you there. What about Clarendon? Let's see here. So Clarendon is expected to see, let's see over here. Clarendon looks to be around up to 35 inches of rain from the German run. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting around 8 to 20 inches of rain for Clarendon. The American run here showing anywhere from 12 to 20 inches of rain, with the European run showing again around 12 to 20 inches of rain for you there. So I'd really say 8 to 35 inches of rain will be possible for you in Clarendon. Now, in terms of wind gusts, these models aren't doing a great job of it, but I'd really say up to 120 mile an hour winds from the European run for you in Clarendon. Recon past the center. Let's take a look at what Recon found, the Recon plains. See, 971 millibars from that pass, 971 millibars from there, and it is moving to the southwest. Oh boy, this is going to drastically affect the forecast from the system. Now, models were forecasting it to go to the southwest, but really any more of a southwestern jog, and it's going to change the trajectory more to the west of Jamaica. So more areas are going to be experiencing storm surge. Remember, anywhere it makes landfall into the east is going to be seeing storm surge. So if it made landfall, let's say on the eastern side, only the eastern portions of Jamaica would really see the bad storm surge. If it goes to the center of the forecast, mainly the eastern half of Jamaica. If it goes all the way to the west, the entirety of Jamaica really is going to be experiencing some of the devastating storm surge from the system. So this is what you do not want to see. And this will only give it more time over water, so we could see even a more powerful Category 5, less land interaction with Jamaica, meaning it will have more time to then speed by the time it reaches Jamaica, like moving faster when it plows into Jamaica there. So again, Category 4 or 5 landfall really cannot be ruled out for Jamaica. How much will Westmoreland be affected? Let's take a look at that. Westmoreland, in terms of winds, the European run showing around 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, the American run again around 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, and the German run around 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. So I'd say around 50 to 70 mile an hour winds expected for you there on these runs. But again, with this jog to the southwest, you could be getting the direct impacts from the system. So don't be betting on just you all not getting a whole lot of impacts. You are still forecasted to see major impacts from this system. In terms of rainfall, you are expected to see anywhere from 2 to 6 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. Not a whole lot there. The German run only showing 1 to around, let's see, is this where it ends? Looks like it ends right around here. 1 to 9 inches of rain from the German run, around 1 to 3 inches from the American run, and the European run 1 to 3 inches. So I'd say 1 to 9 inches of rain is being forecasted for you there. Let's see, next question. Let's see, since we are only a month away from the end of the hurricane season, could Melissa be the only name retired if the impacts are bad? I think so. Let's hope, guys. Let's hope this is the only one, okay? Let's just hope, okay? I don't want to deal with another one after this. And I know you all don't. Yes, Kingston will be affected by urban floodings, catastrophic winds, etc. Yes, and guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as it really helps out a lot. If you haven't already, we're so close to 3.92k. We're 7 away from there. So please, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. So close to that milestone. And we're nearing 4,000 subscribers as well. So I continue to provide these daily updates for you all. And I do want to mention, though, if you haven't already, please consider following me on one of these other social media platforms besides just YouTube. I do post a lot more updates besides just YouTube. So follow me on whatever platform you use the most. So if you use X the most, I'm not asking you to follow me on like all of these platforms or whatever. Just use whatever you follow me on whatever you use the most. If you use X, consider following me on @hurricane_chase. If you have Instagram, consider following me at Hurricane Chaser Chase. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky, consider following me on Cyclone Tracking. And if you use Discord, consider joining the Discord server, discord.gg/chasesstorm, where we discuss tropical cyclones and severe weather across the globe. So let's get back to answering some more questions. We have a question about Falmouth. Let's discuss that here. Okay, Falmouth is expected to see major impacts from this storm. They are not highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts, fortunately. So they are on the lower end of the three devastation or 3 impact categories that are currently over Jamaica. So they're on the lower end, but that lower end is not saying much with major impacts. Still Sunday, tomorrow getting some of those outer rain bands, really picking up though on Monday with some gale force winds. Get your preparation completed before tomorrow at noon is what I'd suggest. Really gets bad with some storm force wind gust on Monday into Tuesday. Looks to be peaking out on Monday night into Tuesday morning before calming down throughout the day on Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday getting a lot less rain and thunderstorms. Now, in terms of rainfall, for you in Falmouth, you are expected to get 6 to 8 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. European runs around 7 inches of rain. American run around 7 inches of rain, and the German run around 3 inches. So I'd say 3 to 8 inches of rain is possible for you in Falmouth. In terms of wind gust, Let's see here. The German run shows up to 70-mile-an-hour winds, American run up to 70-mile-an-hour winds, and the European run up to 60. So 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds are being forecasted for you there. But any shift to the west, and you could be seeing major impacts from the system. Let's see. What about Clarendon? Clarendon is expected to see Clarendon is expected to see at least major impacts, but they do have the possibility of catastrophic or extreme impacts from the system, mainly in the form of rain. So let's discuss Clarendon here. Wind gusts could be as high as 120 miles an hour from the European run. If we take a look at the rainfall forecast here, up to 20 inches of rain being forecasted from the European run. National Hurricane Center is forecasting 8 to 20, so that makes sense there. American run up to 20 inches of rain being forecasted there, and the German run up to 35 inches. So I'd honestly say 8 to 35 inches of rain is going to be possible across Clarendon. Yes, this is the worst case scenario for Jamaica. Powerful and slow-moving storm. Yes. St. Elizabeth. Let's discuss St. Elizabeth. They're on the western side here. In terms of winds, they could see around, this is up to 80 to 90 mile-an-hour winds. Looks like that's the high-end forecast there. Now it can be even higher in some of these areas, up to 100 mile-an-hour winds being forecasted there, but you are expected to get major impacts from the system. 2 to 8 inches of rain is being forecasted by the Hurricane Center. And looking at the rainfall forecast here, 3 to 10 inches from the European run, around 2 to 6 inches of rain by the American run, and up to 30 inches of rain being forecasted by the German run. So really anywhere from, I'd say, around 3 to 30 inches of rain are possible for you in St. Elizabeth. That's why you are expected to see major impacts from this. What about Black River? Well, Black River is in that. So again, you could see 3 to 30 inches of rain from the system, and you are expected to get major impacts from it. What websites do you suggest for storm tracking? I use Zoom Earth, Tropical Tidbits, NOAA, etc. I use, let's see, Tropical Tidbits, Cyclonic Weather, RAM-B, Zoom Earth, Easterly Wave, Depaya, Windy, and the National Hurricane Center, and Google DeepMind Weather Lab, as well as Polar Weather, Polar WX. Those are the websites I recommend. See here, Portmore for St. Catherine. Let's discuss those impacts that you could see there. Portmore, oh wait, I think I know where it is. St. Catherine's over there. Let's see, please, can I find it? Yeah, there it is. Portmore, okay. Impacts there could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands impacting you there. Really picking up on Monday, though. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow night. Before you go to sleep tomorrow night, get your preparations completed. Really gets bad on Monday there. Peaks out on Monday night into Tuesday morning, calms down throughout the day on Tuesday, and much calmer on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of rainfall forecast for you in Portmore, let me zoom out a bit. The National Hurricane Center is forecasting 20 to 30 inches of rain. The European run here showing up to 20 inches of rain. American run up to 30 inches of rain, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain. So I would forecast 20 to 35 inches of rain for you there. That's why you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. In terms of wind gust for Portmore, around 90 mile-an-hour winds there, around 80 mile-an-hour winds from this run, and around 100 mile-an-hour winds from the European run. But again, catastrophic impacts because this could shift to the east and you could be getting a direct hit from a Category 4 or 5. Let's see, next question. I hope everyone, could it reach Category 5 status? Yes, I am forecasting it to reach a Category 5 status either on Monday morning or by Monday night. And then it could do it even earlier than that. As we've seen, it is rapidly intensifying right now, getting its eye together. So this thing is quickly intensifying. So we could see a Category 5 within the next 36 hours. You can see that eye really starting to clear out. This is getting very scary if you're in Jamaica. This thing is going to really intensify. And really, there's not a whole lot stopping it at all from exploding into a very powerful major hurricane. It may be a major hurricane by tonight or by tomorrow morning. Let's see here, Clarendon. Clarendon's impacts there, if I pull that up. Let's see, Clarendon here in portions of northern Clarendon, or mainly Clarendon is expected to see wind gusts, as at least from the European run, up to 120 mile-an-hour winds. Rain accumulations here. National Hurricane Center, I do want to say this first, though. They are forecasting 8 to 20 inches of rain. European runs showing up to 20 inches. American run showing up to 20 inches, and the German run, though, showing up to 35 inches of rain. So, really, anywhere I'd say from 8 to 35 inches of rain is going to be possible for you there. That's why you are highlighted in the area of possibility of catastrophic impacts. But you are expected to get at least major impacts from this storm. Let's see, St. James impacts. Thank you guys so much for 200 people watching. That really means a lot. Um, let's see here. Hold on. Let me just. Guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as I will be doing more live streams over the coming days. We're 4 away from 3.92K, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already. As I sometimes, if there's too many people watching, I may want to turn on the feature that only allows subscribers to ask questions, just because I can only get to so many questions. Thank you guys so much for all watching that. Again, though, let me discuss the impacts in. Let's see, what was the question for? That was St. James. Let's see, so St. James here could see, wait, where's St. James? Okay, St. James is up there. They are expected to see major impacts from this system over there in northwestern Jamaica. In terms of rainfall, the Hurricane Center is forecasting 2 to 6 inches. Over here, the German run showing around 2 inches. The American run up to 8 inches, 9 inches, and the European run up to 9 inches as well. So I'd say around 1 to 9 inches of rain is being forecasted for you there. But again, though, you could be getting hit by a major hurricane. This thing is shifting a little bit more to the southwest, and you'll notice that here. Notice how it's moved a little bit more to the southwest. There, let me just fix this. Okay. Yep, so it is moving more to the southwest of the forecast cone. And comparing that to the Google AI Ensemble members here, it is on the northwestern side, and so they generally take it to the more western sides of Cuba. And if that does verify, that will be going straight towards St. James, meaning that's why you could be seeing major impacts from this system. That's why I am currently forecasting it for you. I'm sorry, guys. I'm currently trying to catch up to all your questions. What about Clarendon? Yep, I just discussed that. Let me see what else here. Yep, guys, I am going to answer. Okay, don't worry about that. I am going to answer your questions as I go further down. Okay, yes, Bermuda is in the cone. I can't really show that to you all there, but yeah, Bermuda is expected to be getting hit by potentially a Category 1, mid-range Category 1. From the system. They are in the forecast cone just beyond the 7-day range. I'm not really showing it because no impacts are expected within the next 5 days just yet. So really nothing's highlighted for you in Bermuda just yet. Maybe in the next update, the cone will be zoomed out more, but right now we're mainly focused on the Caribbean, okay? That's what we're mostly focused on. The Caribbean, mainly the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands. All those areas really need to be focusing on this system. That's why the cone is currently zoomed in on them. Beyond that, though, they are in the cone by day 6. Bermuda will be affected by the storm. I saw someone saying no, they won't. So yes, they will, most likely from the system. Let's see. I did answer Falmouth from you. Yep, you're welcome. Let's see. What about Sandy Bay in Hanover? Ooh, we got a question from Hanover. Let's look at. Is it Hanover or Hanover? Can you kind of type in the chat how it's pronounced? I'm not quite sure, but Sandy Bay. Could be getting some tropical storm force gusts as early as tomorrow. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning. Get them done because by then it may be a little bit too late. Again, some of those outer rain bands impacting you throughout the days. Nothing too severe from these model runs. National Hurricane Center is forecasting 2 to 4 inches of rain. On this run, the European run showing around 3 inches of rain. The American run up around 3 inches and the German run up to around 2 inches. So yeah, really 2 to 4 inches of rain are forecasted for you. Still though, if this western shift verifies, you could be getting hit by a major hurricane. So really keep paying attention to the system. What about Gravel Hill? I'll search that up. Alright, Gravel Hill, I don't know where that is. I'm guessing you mean this one over here. This would be in Clarendon. Rainfall totals from the National Hurricane Center are 16 to 20 inches for your location. The European run showing up to 20 inches of rain. The American run up to 15 inches, and the German run up to 30 inches of rain. So really, I'd say 15 to 30 inches of rain being possible for you there. What about Cambridge? I cannot find it, unfortunately. How is Montego Bay looking? Okay, we got two questions in a row. Let's see, Montego Bay. Is it Montego or Montego? If it's T, type it with later in the chat TEE. Just so I know. I think it's Montego Bay. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow in the morning hours and maybe even around noonish with some of those tropical storm force gust. So really get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning. It continues to pick up. Worst days are going to be Monday and Tuesday. Calms down though on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of impacts, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting 2 to 4 inches for you. The European run showing 4 inches, maybe 5 inches. American showing 4 inches, and the German around 2 inches. So really, 2 to 5 inches of rain are forecasted for you there. But if it does make that western jog like it's kind of doing right now, you could be getting hit by a major hurricane from this system as it moves over Jamaica. Good night. Did you discuss Mandeville? We can discuss that. Let's see. I know that that name sounds familiar. Let me figure out where it is. Where is it? I've seen that so. There it is. Okay, Mandeville in Manchester. Yes, I'm learning my geography in Jamaica. So please, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as it really helps out a lot. Let's try to get to 3.95K. That'd be incredible. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. So Mandeville, let's look at this. Oh yeah, and just as a reminder, I will be doing more live streams, and especially as it's making landfall, on Tuesday or Monday. So again, I am going to be doing another update tomorrow on this system. So subscribe if you haven't already. In terms of Mandeville, they could see impacts as early as tomorrow with some outer rain bands, maybe some gale force gust. Monday, though, it really picks up, and on Tuesday as well. National Hurricane Center is forecasting around 8 to 12 inches of rain for you there. I would be expecting major impacts for you, maybe the possibility of catastrophic impacts for you there in Mandeville. European run showing up to 15 inches, American run up to 10 inches, and the European or German run up to 20 inches. So really anywhere from I'd say around 8 to 20 inches of rain is possible for you in Mandeville. So you could see catastrophic impacts from the system. Let's see, St. Elizabeth. Let's discuss that area. Let's go over, yeah, St. Elizabeth is going to be over here. They could see a landfall from this system. St. Elizabeth is expected to see anywhere from 2 to 8 inches of rain, but as you can see here, the German run showing up to 30 inches of rain, and some of these other models are showing a little bit lower totals, only around 2 to 3 inches. So really 2 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in St. Elizabeth. Let's see, European high resolution model says there's going to be another storm after Melissa. Let's look at that. I did not know that. Let me pull this up on here. You said the high resolution model. I'm not really seeing it fully. I'm seeing like a little bit of a low pressure area, but nothing too severe. There, guys, I'd really be focusing on this storm. Okay. Don't worry about anything else after. Okay, just focus on this storm. Pay all of your attention to this storm right here. What about Spanish Town? Let's see, Spanish Town here could see, this is one of the areas that could see the possibility of catastrophic impacts. I don't think it's highlighted for, oh no, it is, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the storm. Impacts will begin as early as tomorrow, so really you're running out of time to prepare. Monday, continuing to get worse and worse. Hurricane force gusts on Monday nights before it calms down on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So really, you're running out of time if you haven't already prepared. Conditions are going to be deteriorating overnight. In terms of rainfall, you are forecast to get 20 to 30 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. European runs around 20 inches, American runs up to 30 inches, and the German runs up to 30 inches as well. So really, you could get anywhere from 20 to 30 inches of rain in Spanish Town. That's why you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system. Hello, what about Cambridge? See, I tried to search that up, but I couldn't really see anything. Cambridge and where? I believe you mean Jamaica? Cambridge, Jamaica. I don't know which one you're talking about, though, unfortunately. There's a lot. If you could narrow it down to the to which one you mean, please. Which day will Munro, St. Elizabeth, get the worst rain and impacts? St. Elizabeth, I believe is what you asked. St. Elizabeth, worst impacts will likely be on Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday will be the worst days. How much rainfall in Cuba? Let's take a look at that forecast from the Hurricane Center here. This is the legend right over here. I hope you all can see that all right. In terms of Cuba, rainfall there could be anywhere from nothing, like under 25 millimeters, up to over 12 to 16 inches of rain, or over 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. Isolated pockets of over 400 millimeters of rain will be possible in portions of Cuba, southeastern Cuba. So really bad rainfall totals. That's why they are expected to see major impacts, with a majority of southeastern Cuba expected to see the possibility of major impacts. Now, I do want to go over this cone again to discuss kind of the impacts across the Caribbean. Again, Jamaica here. These areas expected to see major impacts. That does include Andover, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Manchester, St. Anne, and Clarendon. Those areas are expected to see major impacts. Now, the areas of possibility of extreme / catastrophic impacts, that does include St. Anne and Clarendon right now. In terms of what areas are expected to see catastrophic impacts, that does include St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, St. Andrew, Kingston, and St. Catherine. All are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this storm. Now, as well as portions of southwestern Haiti are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system as well. It is expected to be a Category 4 by tomorrow night. So by the time I do another stream tomorrow night, this will likely already be a Category 4 strength system, and by Monday morning it could be a Category 5. Monday morning, on the day on Monday, it is expected to be a Category 5, maybe even earlier. It's expected to slam into Jamaica on Tuesday morning, maybe even earlier than that. That's the forecast there. Catastrophic impacts being expected for portions of eastern Jamaica, and this could be shifting as where it's moving is shifting right now. Now, again, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are now 2 away from 3.94 thousand subscribers. I will be doing more updates, so if you subscribed, you will be stayed up to date, and you will be seeing more of these graphics on your feed, so you will be staying up to date. And as well, if you haven't already followed me on some of these other social media platforms, consider following me on the one you use the most, okay? I'm not going to ask you to follow me on all of these. Just follow me on the platform you use the most besides YouTube, because I do post a lot more updates on these other platforms. If you use X/Twitter, follow me on @hurricane_chase. If you use Instagram a lot, follow me at Hurricane Chaser Chase. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky, consider following me at Cyclone Tracking. And if you use Discord, consider joining it at discord.gg/chasesstorm. Thank you so much. We just reached 3.94 thousand subscribers. Thank you, guys. Now let's get back into some more questions here. Kingston, what are the impacts in? Or wait, no, sorry. Let me go back. I already answered that. Montego Bay. Let's answer that question there. Again, I am slowly catching up to your guys' questions. So, Montego Bay, and remember, some guys are probably already asked your question, so I will be getting to your question, okay, throughout the stream. If you ask a question, I will be getting to it, okay? I just want to reiterate that. I'm not going to glance over your question, I will get to it. Montego Bay could see around 5 inches of rain from or Montego Bay in terms of impact timing. I want to discuss that first. Montego Bay could see impacts as early as tomorrow, especially around the morning and evening times. So really get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning, as conditions are going to be deteriorating. Really picks up on Monday and Tuesday, though. Let's see, in terms of rainfall forecast, you are expected to see 2 to 4 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. European run showing up to 5 inches of rain. American run also 5 inches, and the German run only 2 inches. So 2 to 5 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Let's see what other questions here. Based on satellite imagery and Recon, do you think that Melissa will get upgraded from 100 to at least 110 miles an hour? Probably. I need to look at Recon data from the system. But really, this system could become a major hurricane very soon. Look at that. Really organizing quite rapidly. It's starting to stack itself more vertically. There, the eye is starting to clear out, and we got another vertical heat tower firing right there. You see that new frame, new burst there. It's going to be wrapping around the center. This is going to be really bad. What about, Montego Bay? How much storm surge? Storm surge is going to be devastating across portions of southern Jamaica. Let me pull that up. Where is it? Here it is. Let's see. So, whoops. Let me go back over here. Portions of, okay, there we go. Portions of Kingston and St. Andrew, devastating storm surge up to 9 to 13 feet above ground level is how much storm surge could be happening here. Some areas are even forecasting higher than that. As well as portions of Clarendon and St. Catherine could see a major to catastrophic storm surge with the system. As well as portions of St. Elizabeth, mainly along the Black River. Westmoreland and Andover could see some impacts from it, but it's a little bit uncertain as to how far to the west it actually goes. So that's the storm surge forecast from the system. Do you think the track will shift more westward in your opinion? Yes, I do. The system, as you already saw here, it is moving to the southwest of the current forecast, meaning that this is likely going to be shifting more to the south. It's already made a jog to the southwest. Recon shows it jogging to the southwest. Let me find it right here. You can see it's jogged to the southwest in the latest update. So yes, I am predicting it to it's going to be jogging. The forecast is going to jog down to the southwest and may delay landfall even longer, which means it could intensify even further than just a minimal Category 5. How bad is the wind looking for Falmouth? In terms of wind impacts, it's a little bit uncertain. I will be just saying major impacts as possible for you there. I can't really, most of the models aren't doing a great job for wind impacts, but you could be getting Category 4 winds from this system. So major impacts are expected for your area. It could, if it shifts to the west, it is going to be delivering worse impacts for you there. Let's see. All right. Let's see now. Let's answer some more questions. I wonder where it will make landfall. Yeah, it's quite uncertain. Let's see if the Google AI Ensemble members are out, the new ones, to discuss landfall probabilities. Not yet. This will be out within the next hour, and we will be discussing the probabilities of which parish it will make landfall in. Currently, there's a 98% chance it will make landfall in Jamaica, and that probability is going to probably go up to 100% in the next update. Right. Also, do you know about the tropical storm Sonia in the Eastern Pacific? Yes, I haven't been able to really analyze it that much. I've given it winds of 60 miles an hour that's meandering out to sea. All right, next question. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to the more major questions. What is the weather looking like for St. Anne? Let's discuss that. Let's see here. So St. Anne is expected to see the possibility of catastrophic impacts depending on where you are in St. Anne. You could see just major impacts, but some areas are highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts. In terms of rainfall, the Hurricane Center is forecasting anywhere from 6 to 20 inches of rain for you in St. Anne, with models like the German run showing anywhere from around 6 to 20 inches of rain. The American run up to 25 inches of rain, and the European run up to 20 inches. So I'd really say anywhere from 6 to 25 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in St. Anne. What about Manchester? Sorry guys, I'm getting to your questions. I'm a little bit behind, but I am catching up. Got 2 questions for Manchester, 3 questions for Manchester. Let me just knock them all down at once. Guys, thank you so much for 250 people watching. This is the highest amount I've ever gotten, so thank you guys so much. Really means a lot, guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as it really means a lot. Let me just say. All right, so yeah, impacts in Manchester. I believe that, or Mandeville. I believe that's what you asked for, right? Mandeville. Yep. Manchester, around that area. Manchester. Okay. Manchester. The forecast is going to be 6 to 16 inches of rain, depending on where you are. If you're in the southeastern portions, you could see catastrophic impacts. But regardless where you are expected to get at least major impacts. So from the European run, anywhere from 10 to 20 inches of rain are being forecasted. The American run showing only 7 to 10 inches of rain, and the German run showing much higher totals, up to 35 inches of rain are going to be possible for you. So really, anywhere from 6 to 35 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in Manchester Parish. Let's see here. What about Savannah Lamar? I will search that up. Let's see. Savannah Lamar. Okay, this area. So, as of right now, you are on the good side of the forecast. You are on the less bad side. Impacts will begin as early as Monday. You have time to prepare. You have a full day tomorrow to prepare, but try to get them done before tomorrow night. Currently, currently you're only expected to see around 2 to 4 inches from the Hurricane Center. But I am highlighting the area for major impacts, and the reason for that is the cone might start shifting a little bit more to the west because it's been making a west-southwestern jog. And as you can see how southwest it is from the current forecast cone. Initially, it was forecasted to go this way. It's actually gone a little bit more to the south, so that's going to alter the forecast dramatically. So, and looking at the Google AI Ensemble members here, you could be getting a direct hit from this storm. So I just say keep watching the system. I'd treat it as if you're going to see major impacts from it. Just keep tuning in for updates. You have a full day to prepare, okay? So I will be doing another stream tomorrow on it at around the same time. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you can see more up-to-date information on the system. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just going to do something right there. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm just using a nail clipper real quick. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. Next question, St. James. Let's discuss the impacts there in St. James. So St. James is in the northwestern side. Again, they're currently on the good side of the forecast. They aren't expected to see really even the possibility of catastrophic impacts, fortunately. But those areas could still see some high amounts of rainfall. From the let's see, from the National Hurricane Center, they are forecasting around 2 to 6 inches of rain for those areas there. Let's see. So yeah, in those areas, and let's see what other areas here. Yeah, 2 to 6 inches of rain from the European run, up to around 7 inches of rain from the American run, and up to around 3 inches of rain from the German run. So really, anywhere from I'd say around 2 to 7 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Let's see. What about Kingston? Let's discuss Kingston in terms of their impacts, when it could begin, and things like that. So in terms of impacts for you there, it could begin as early as tomorrow with some of those outer rain bands. Really picks up by tomorrow night, though. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow night, as by Monday it's too late for you in Kingston. Really devastating impacts looks like on Monday and Tuesday possible before it calms down on later on Tuesday and into Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of rainfall totals, or you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system in terms of the rainfall. The Hurricane Center is forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain, with the European run showing only about 20 inches, the American run showing up to 30 inches, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain. So I'd be forecasting 20 to 40 inches of rain for Kingston, Jamaica. So really, you could be getting hit with such a catastrophic hurricane. How much rainfall in the Bahamas? Let me pull up that forecast here. Bahamas, in this coloring, this is the legend here. Anywhere in those green colors are 25 to 100 millimeters of rain. In those yellow colors, it's around 100 to 150 millimeters of rain. And this island right here, the far southern island of the Bahamas, around 150 to 200 millimeters of rain being forecasted. That may be conservative, and we may see that get upped in the future updates, but that's what it is at right now. Let's see what else. What about Linstead at St. Catherine? Let me discuss that area. Linstead, is that St. Catherine still? Yes, it is. Okay. That area is expected to see the possibility of catastrophic impacts. Not a guarantee that they're going to see catastrophic impacts. There's the possibility of it, but they are going to see at least major impacts from the system. Rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center are being forecasted, or let me talk about the timing. Impacts could begin as early as soon, really. You could be getting tropical storm force winds as early as tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. So really, get your preparations completed as soon as you can. It gets really bad on Monday, Monday night especially there, with the worst impacts happening. Then it looks to be calming down on a Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Really, Monday and Tuesday are the worst days. In terms of rainfall, again, National Hurricane Center is forecasting 16 to 20 inches of rain for you there. European run's forecasting up to 20. American run up to 25 inches, and German run up to 20 inches. So really, anywhere from I'd say around 16 to 16 to 25 inches of rain possible for you in Linstead. Hand over. Okay, thank you guys. What about Kingston? Yeah, okay, St. Thomas. St. Thomas, okay, that's the southeastern portions here. They could see impacts as early as tonight, maybe already getting some of those outer rain bands right now. As if we can see, they're almost in those outer rain bands, so really starting to get impacts already. Looking at the area, they are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system here. With some of these areas, National Hurricane Center is forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain. American runs up to 30 inches of rain. European runs up to 25 inches of rain. And the German run up to 40 inches of rain. So I'd say 25 to 40 inches of rain are possible for you if you're in St. Thomas. So you prepare for catastrophic impacts. Let's see what other questions. Montego. Let's discuss Montego. Montego there, they are only forecast to get 2 to 4 inches of rain, nothing too big. I'd say around 2 to 5 inches of rain are going to be possible for Montego Bay. The problem is if the system continues moving on the southwestern side of the forecast. If that continues, if you extrapolate that, that is going to be slamming into Montego Bay as potentially a major hurricane Category 4 moving directly over Montego Bay. That would be bringing major impacts from the system. So just keep monitoring the forecast. See, Mavis Bank, St. Andrew. Search that up. And guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're almost at 3.96k. We're 10 away from that. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and like the stream if you haven't. I haven't mentioned that all stream yet. Like the stream if you haven't already. Helps get it out to more people. Let's try to get this information out to as many people as possible so that they can ask their questions. So, let's see, Mavis Bank here. That area in St. Andrew, is it? What? Or hold on, let me look at what you said there. St. Andrew, yes. Those areas could see, they're kind of right on the border. Or no, they are expected to see. Wait, hold on, let me look. No, they are on the border on whether or not they will see catastrophic impacts, or is that just a possibility? They are forecasted to see at least major impacts, though. So around the 20 to 30 inch range of rain. I'd say around 30 inches from the hurricane center, 20 inches from the. Or let me discuss the. I do want to discuss real quick the timing of impacts. Could begin as early as tomorrow or overnight. So really get your preparations completed as early as you can, as it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Impacts seem to be peaking on Monday and Tuesday before calming on Wednesday and Thursday. Rainfall totals, again, National Hurricane Center forecasting 30 inches, European around 20 inches, American around 30 inches, and the German run around 30 inches. So I'd say 20 to 30 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. How badly will Kingston be affected? Catastrophic impacts are expected there. 20 to 40 inches of rain are possible for Kingston. See here, I swear I answered Linstead, St. Catherine. Let me just scroll up. I will answer that again then. Let me just get to that. Linstead, St. Catherine. St. Catherine could see around, really could see the possibility of catastrophic impacts. I'd say Linstead, those just out of it, they are expected to see major impacts from the storm. Linstead forecasted to see around 20 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. German showing 20 inches, American showing 25 inches, and European showing 20 inches. So really 20 to 25 inches of rain are possible for you there. You could see catastrophic impacts from this system. How about Ochos Rios? Let's pull that up. Ochos Rios there on the, this is around, I believe, St. Anne. This area could see impacts as early as tomorrow, so get your preparations completed as soon as possible. Rush them to completion overnight if you haven't already. Impacts will continue getting worse on Monday and peaking between Monday and Tuesday before it begins calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Impacts for you, let's see. You are expected to see major impacts from this system. Doesn't seem like you're highlighted. Are you highlighted for the possibility of... you are highlighted for the possibility there of catastrophic impacts. Okay. Yeah, so you are highlighted as the possibility of catastrophic impacts from this system. Rain totals from the Hurricane Center are 16 to 20 inches. European showing up to 20 inches. American up to 25 inches. And the German run up to 15 inches. So really anywhere from 15 to 25 inches of rain could fall for you there. Let's see. Hey guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We're 5 away from 3.96 thousand. I will be continuing to do more live streams like this over the coming days. Let's see here. What about toll gates? I will search that up. Toll gates, is this the one? Let's see, toll gates, Jamaica. Oops, sorry about that. Let's see here. I don't know which one you're talking about, unfortunately. There's 2 of them. What about Falmouth and Trelawney? I'll search that up. Let's see. Falmouth here could see, let's see here. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, so get your preparation completed by tomorrow morning if you haven't already. You're going to be running out of time. Monday and Tuesday are the worst days, with Wednesday and Thursday getting a lot better. Rainfall totals are forecast to be 6 to 8 inches from the hurricane center, although the European run showing up to around 7 inches of rain, American run up to 9 inches, and the German run around 3 inches of rain. So really 3 to 9 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there in Falmouth. Now they are forecasted to see major impacts from this system, okay? You are expected to see major impacts from it. And if it starts shifting more to the west, it may be even worse for you, okay? Like it's trying to do right now. In this next advisory that comes out in just over an hour, we may see a cone shift more to the west. Will the wind be very bad? Yes. The wind could be a Category 4 or 5 at landfall, unfortunately. So what about Awarton? I'll search up that area. Awarton Airstrip, that's the area I search up here. That for some reason Awarton does not show up on here, but here. Impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, so get your preparation completed overnight if you haven't already. You're going to be running out of time. Monday and Tuesday are going to be really bad days for you, and Wednesday and Thursday are much calmer days, fortunately. In terms of rainfall or impacts, you are expected to get catastrophic impacts from this system. I would say, and same for Linstead. I got that wrong. Catastrophic impacts are expected for you. Around 20 inches of rain are forecasted by the Hurricane Center. European run here showing 20 inches. American run here showing around 25 inches. And German run around 20 inches. So 20 to 25 inches of rain are being forecasted for you there. Oco Rios, let's discuss that. Or wait, no, we discussed that earlier. The same person. Remember, guys, please do not repeat your questions. As I'm trying to get to them as in a timely manner. What about Savannah Lamar? Let me search that up. Oh wait, no, I know where Savannah Lamar is. Savannah Lamar is, I thought on the, or is it on the, there it is, okay. Savannah Lamar is expected to see major impacts from this system. In terms of timing, we'll begin overnight into around tomorrow noonish. Looks like the impacts start to deteriorate, but it really gets bad on Monday and Tuesday before it calms down finally on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of the rainfall you could get, National Hurricane Center is forecasting 2 to 4 inches. Europeans only showing 2 inches, Americans only showing 3, and Germans only really showing 2. So really, yeah, 2 to 4 inches are expected. The problem, though, is if it starts continuing to deviate to the southwest, and you could be getting a direct impact from this system as a Category 4 or 5. So continue to be tuning into the latest updates. Treat this as if you're going to see major impacts. Again, thank you guys so much for 4,000 views in 2 hours. That's insane. Thank you guys so much. What about Santa Cruz? I will search that up. See, Santa Cruz, Jamaica. I believe you're talking about this location here. Yes, okay. That is going to be in, let's see, that's going to be in St. Elizabeth, I believe, meaning you are forecasted to see major impacts from it. Impacts look to be calm tomorrow, fortunately. Doesn't really pick up until Monday, so you still have a day to prepare if you haven't already. Get it done, though, if you haven't already. Really gets bad on Monday and Tuesday before finally calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of rainfall totals, you are expected to see around 6 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center. European runs forecasting around 10 inches of rain, with the 8 inches. American showing 8 inches of rain, and the German run showing up to 20 inches of rain. So really, anywhere from 6 to 20 inches of rain you could be getting there. Major impacts. Hey, there's a low pressure area that turned into tropical depression. Tina, I'm from northern Samar. There is a system there. Let's see. So there is an area there in the Western Pacific that could move across the Philippines and impact parts of the Indochina regions. But that's no updates on that system just yet. Okay, we're mainly focusing on Melissa and 94B, a little bit on 94B, but mainly focusing on Melissa. Like 99% of the coverage is focused on Melissa. Let's see, I answered Falmouth there. What about Kingston? Let me discuss Kingston. Remember, guys, please do not repeat your questions. One or like one city per person. Okay, don't keep repeating things. Let me do a Kingston. Let's see here. All right, Kingston could see, let's see, Kingston could see winds beginning as early as tomorrow, but really getting worse on Monday and Tuesday. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow night if you're in Kingston. Conditions will be really bad on Monday, so you really can't do much then. Same for Tuesday. Really get your preparations completed by tomorrow. In terms of impacts, you are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this system. Rainfall totals of 30 inches are forecasted from the Hurricane Center. European run showing 20 inches, Americans 30 inches, and Germans up to 35 inches. So really, 20 to 35 inches of rain are possible there. That would be catastrophic for you. Let's see, Linstead. Let's see here. Linstead could see. Let's see. Linstead could see winds are deteriorating. Well, first off, they're going to be seeing catastrophic impacts from the system. Sunday, tomorrow, a little bit bad. It gets worse throughout the day on Sunday. So get your preparations completed by Sunday morning is my recommendation. Monday, it's way too bad. Tuesday, it's way too bad. Wednesday, it starts calming down, and on Thursday, or like Wednesday and Thursday, are the calmer days. From the Hurricane Center, they're forecasting 20 inches of rain for you. From this, it's showing around 20 inches of rain from this run, the European run. The American run's around 25 inches, and the German run around 20 inches of rain there. See, while Hurricane Melissa is rapidly intensifying, yes, it is, and this could become a major hurricane overnight. This is getting very scary if you live in Jamaica. This is finally bombing out. We knew it would, and it's finally doing that now. Look at it. What a beast. Let's look at it on the shortwave imagery here, how it looks on there. Starting to clear out the eye there. All right, let's answer some more questions. What about Awarti? Let's discuss there. I cannot find it on the map, unfortunately. Oh, Ward 10, okay. Or hold on, there's a question before you. Bogwalk in St. Catherine. I do not see Bogwalk. Is it Bog Spacewalk? Bog Spacewalk. Okay, guys, remember, try to type it out the correct way because the map's a little bit wonky and it won't show up in sometimes. Winds or conditions will begin to deteriorate again tomorrow, so get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning. Before you wake up or before the sun rises, get your preparations completed. It continues to deteriorate on Monday and Tuesday before eventually calming down, looks like, on Wednesday and Thursday. Rainfall totals, you're expected to see catastrophic impacts from this, or wait, let me double check. Yeah, catastrophic impacts are expected for you in this area from this system. With rainfall totals from 20 inches from the Hurricane Center, European run showing 20 inches, American runs up to 25 inches, and the German runs around 20 inches. So really 20 to 25 inches, catastrophic flooding is possible for you there. Let's see, Awarton, I will search that up. Let's see, Awarton. Oops, sorry about that. Let's see, Awarton's impacts could begin as early as tomorrow, so get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning before the sun rises. Get them completed. Monday is going to be Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days for you there, with Wednesday and Thursday being the calmer days. In terms of rainfall, you are not expected to see catastrophic impacts from this. You have the possibility of it. I believe so. Wait, no, hold on. Let me just double check. I believe it's the yeah. You there are not in the like the bam. You're gonna get catastrophic impacts. You're in the possibility right now, and this could get upgraded to you getting catastrophic impacts. 20 inches of rain are being forecasted from the European run. National Hurricane Center 16 to 20 inches. American runs 25 inches, and the German runs around 20 inches. So really, 16 to 25 inches are going to be possible for you there in terms of rainfall. When will Melissa make landfall? Looks to be Tuesday, early on Tuesday, maybe overnights until like early on Tuesday. Major and extremely, what's the difference? Oops, sorry, hold on. I'm trying to get to your questions. Man, okay, I'm backlogged. I'm trying to get to it. Let's see here. Hold on, let me ask. Let's see, hold on. Is he on? Let me just check him here. Alright, so, looking at where, will it become a Category 5? I do believe so. A major and extreme impacts, what's the difference? Extreme impacts mainly means like catastrophic infrastructural damage, all that kind of stuff. Major is still bad. Damage to buildings, things like that. I will do a more comprehensive scale here. Major means like major hurricane force winds, over a foot of rain, that kind of stuff. Extreme is like either category 5 winds, like the worst of the worst kind of impacts that you could possibly see from a tropical cyclone. Major's like something like Gilbert, for example. Gilbert or Beryl, those kind of impacts. Whereas extreme is something like you've never seen before. Unfortunately for Jamaica, for example, that's something you've never seen before. See, will Melissa make an eyeball replacement cycle? It's gonna be a major hurricane for quite a while, so I do believe it's gonna undergo one of those. Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna be adding a moderator in the chat. Um, hold on. Let me just make some. All right, there we go. Okay, we got a moderator in the chat. Okay, no, okay, thankfully. All right. Sorry, I was not expecting this amount of people to be watching and this amount of chat messages. There's a lot of backlog, so I do need someone moderating the chat. I think that'll be 160 miles an hour. Yes, I am currently forecasting a peak of 160 miles an hour. I will discuss this cone now here. So I am forecasting it to be a major hurricane by tomorrow morning, maybe even Category 4 by tomorrow morning. By tomorrow night, it will be a Category 4, maybe even Category 5, and by Monday morning, it could be a Category 5. By Monday night, should already have become a Category 5. By Tuesday morning, it will be nearing Jamaica, slamming into it as a powerful Category 4, the strongest in Jamaican history. And then afterwards on Tuesday night, it will be then leaving Jamaica, and then by Wednesday night, moving through the Bahamas, and then by Thursday night, finally leaving. And by Friday night, it will be impacting Bermuda. Let's see here. Melissa makes Category 3 at midnight, could become a Category 3 by midnight. This thing is rapidly intensifying. What about Mandeville? Which category? Mandeville, in terms of impacts there. Oh, whoa, whoa, okay. 300 people almost watching. Whoa, okay. Um, Mandeville, and I do want to give a shout out to Sharkius for helping. If you like animations, be sure to give him a subscribe, as he does great animations as well. Let's see. So in terms of Mandeville, that is going to be in Manchester. Let me pull that up. They are going to be seeing major impacts from this system, with a possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts. So currently looks like major impacts. Let's see here. Let's see. Going through, almost at 4,000 subscribers. Yes, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We are 35 subscribers away from 4,000. Please help me reach it by the end of the stream. We are so close. I will continue be doing more streams over the coming days. Wow, okay. Oops, all right. So yes, I will be continuing to do more streams just like this over the coming days. Let's see. How about Okos Rio? I think I already answered your question. Yeah. Let's see. What is the chance of it becoming a Category 5? I'd say around a 70% chance at this point that it becomes a Category 5, maybe even higher than that. See, Kingston. Let me talk about Kingston, their impacts. Let's see here. So Kingston could see impacts of around, or impact timing could happen as early as Monday, looks like. So you do still have tomorrow to prepare. Get the preparations done by tomorrow night, though. Impacts will be very bad on Monday and Tuesday for Kingston there, with it really peaking in between Monday night and Tuesday morning, and then it finally calms down on Wednesday and Thursday. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts in Kingston from the system. Rainfall totals of 30 inches to 40 inches are being forecasted for you from the Hurricane Center. 20 inches are being forecasted by the European run, 30 inches by the American run, and 35 inches from the German run. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are possible for you in Kingston. Port Antonio. Okay, I know where that is, I think. And Portland, I believe, yes. All right, Port Antonio, let's see about those impacts. Could be happening as early as right now, and these conditions are going to be, you'll need to be hunkered down. Be hunkered down, okay, because these conditions are going to be getting worse and worse and worse. The flooding is just going to get worse and worse. you should have already prepared already. If you haven't, I don't really know what to say. You should have prepared. In terms of impacts, though, Port Antonio are expected to see catastrophic impacts from this storm. The Hurricane Center is forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain. Europeans only forecasting 20 inches. Americans showing 25 inches, and the German showing 25 inches as well. So 20 to 40 inches of rain are possible for you there. Let's see. Hey, join your Discord server. Thank you guys for joining the Discord server. Let's see, Mandeville. Let me discuss those impacts. Let's see here. So Mandeville and Manchester here. Let's see. They could see impacts of around, or Mandeville is expected to see major impacts from the system. I don't think that they're highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts. No, not yet. I don't think so. They're right on the border if they are. Treat this as if you're going to see major impacts and potentially catastrophic impacts, though. Impacts will be beginning as early as tomorrow night, so you still have another morning to prepare if you haven't already. Get those done, though. Monday it's going to be bad, and Tuesday as well, before finally calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center are around 12 inches of rain. Europeans around at 12 inches of rain, Americans around 12 inches, and the Germans up to 20 inches. So I'd say 12 to 20 inches of rain are forecasted for you there. How about Kettabig? There's a low pressure area. I've given it a 40% chance of developing. Wharton. Let's discuss that. Wharton again. That is you are on the border, I believe, there of seeing. Oh yeah, you are expected to see at least major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Conditions are going to be deteriorating by tomorrow morning, so if you haven't already, get those preparations completed. Get them done overnight, get them done. Monday it's going to be even worse, and between Monday and Tuesday are the days that it peaks out. Wednesday and Thursday is when it starts calming down a lot more. In terms of rainfall, National Hurricane Center is forecasting 20 inches, European run showing 20 inches, American run showing 25 inches, and the German run's around 20 inches. Let's see here. What about Kingston? Again, Kingston, you guys do have about a day to prepare if you haven't already. Get them done tomorrow night, though, by tomorrow night. If you haven't already, get them done. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days for you with this system, and before it calms down on Wednesday. You are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. Prepare for the worst. 20 inches of rain are being forecasted by the European run. American runs around 30 inches, and Germans up to 35 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are possible for you in Kingston. Let's see, what about Portmore? Let's see, let's see, Portmore, and let's see. Is this yeah, Portmore? Again, same thing. You guys have tomorrow to prepare. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days. You are expected to see around, I'd say, 20 to 35 inches of rain if you are in Portmore. Prepare for catastrophic impacts. Alright. Yeah, so Kingston and Portmore are expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. See, Manchester, when is it coming there? Oh, guys, if you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing. We are currently 23 subscribers away from 4,000, so please subscribe if you haven't already. I will be doing more updates. This is not going to be the last update. Let's see, Manchester. Manchester seems to get, or Mandeville and Manchester seems to get major impacts from the system. Looks to be around a foot of rain being forecasted by the various model runs. So around 12 to 20 inches are being forecasted of rain there. In terms of impacts, they could begin as early as tomorrow night. So get the preparations completed before tomorrow night. It will be peaking on Monday and Tuesday before calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see, we have a question for Portland. Let's see, hold on, let me get to that. Alright, in terms of impacts that Portland could get, they are expected, the entirety of Portland is expected to see catastrophic impacts with rainfall totals of 30 to 40 inches. Europeans only showing 20 inches, they're on the low end. Americans showing up to 30 inches. And German runs also showing up to 30 inches of rain. So really prepare for 20 to 40 inches of rain. Catastrophic impacts for you there. Let's see. What else? Is the Turks and Caicos Islands going to be affected by the storm? Yes. They are currently forecasted to see slight impacts from it over the next 5 days. And in terms of rainfall totals over the next 4 days, let me pull that up. They are expected to see anywhere from around 25 to 150 millimeters of rain over the next 4 days. What about Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth? I will pull that up. Thank you guys so much for 5,000 views on the live stream so far. See, Santa Cruz. They are forecasted to see major impacts from the system. Looks like it's going to be really bad. Or you guys have another day or so to prepare. Get those preparations completed before tomorrow night, because conditions will continue to deteriorate on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday are finally the calmer days for you there. In terms of rainfall, National Hurricane Center is forecasting around 4 to 6 inches, but the European run's showing 8 inches. Americans 6 inches, and the German runs were up to 20 inches. So really 4 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there in Santa Cruz. Let's see here. Welcome Hull in St. James. Let's see here. Welcome Hull and St. James. I believe that, yep, okay. So St. James, in there you are expected to get major impacts from the system. Conditions will deteriorate tomorrow. So get those preparations completed before tomorrow night or tomorrow morning is what I would recommend. Get them done before the sun rises. Monday is going to be bad, Tuesday as well. Wednesday and Thursday are finally the calmer days for you there. Rainfall totals of 4 to 6 inches are forecasted from the Hurricane Center. European run showing 5 inches, American showing 5 inches, and German showing only 2 inches. So really 2 to 6 inches of rain are possible for you there. Let's see here. We got a question for Mason River, St. Anne. Let me discuss that area. Mason River, Jamaica. I'm not really seeing it, unfortunately. Let's see, next question. What about St. Mary? St. Mary is expected to see catastrophic impacts with the system. Let me look at the forecast there. Catastrophic impacts are expected on the eastern portions of St. Mary, and catastrophic impacts are possible on the western portions of St. Mary. Rainfall totals of 16 to 40 inches of rain are forecasted there. European runs showing anywhere from around the 20-inch range. American runs up to again 20 to 30 inches of rain, and the German runs only around 15 inches. So I would say 15 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for St. Mary. You could be seeing catastrophic impacts. Storm surge. Whoops. All right, guys, and with Weather Sharkius, again, I do want to mention this. If somebody asks a question that I've already answered, you can keep it there, okay? I just want to state that, okay? All right. See, so let me go back up to the question I was on right now. Okay, there we go. So remember, if somebody asks a question that I've already answered, that's fine, in the chat. Let's see here. Melissa moving more southward. Yes, it is. And storm surge, yes, up to 13 feet of storm surge is forecasted, I believe, from the Hurricane Center. And yes, it is moving more to the south, which is going to pose more of a threat to western Jamaica, as well as southeastern Jamaica as well. More of a storm surge threat there, locked in. Let's see what else here. Is Turks and Caicos going to be impacted? Yes. Okay. Siloa. Let me look up that area. Let's see. I cannot see it there, for that area. What about Clarendon? Clarendon is expected to see major impacts. They do have the possibility of catastrophic impacts from the system. Because we're 17 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Here, so Clarendon could see around 25 to 35 inches of rain there, at least from the German run. But the hurricanes, I'd say around 8 to 35 inches of rain is going to be possible for Clarendon. Lucia on over. Let me look up that area. Lucia on over. Let's see. They could see National Hurricane Center is only forecasting 2 to 4 inches, but they could see major impacts because it is shifting westwards. Get your preparations completed by tomorrow night if you haven't already. Conditions will deteriorate. Let's see what the model runs wants here. The European run wants around 3 inches of rain. American run wants 2 inches, and the German run wants 1 inch. So really 1 to 4 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. You're on the better side right now compared to eastern Jamaica. So category 3, if it forms an eye, well, I mean, it's forming an eye, which kind of shows it's becoming more vertically aligned. There's already an eye at the surface. We've seen that on radar images. Let me see if this website's now up to date or if it's loading or not. Probably not. No, it's not. Okay. We can see here on radar imagery there is an eye, but now that's starting to align vertically. It's a very tall storm, so you can see it's starting to finally clear out. In the very upper end, like this is up to like 50,000 feet in the air. It's starting to clear completely up. Let's see. So how far is Hurricane Melissa from Jamaica? Let's show that. In terms of its current location, it is around, let's see, it's around 135 miles away from Kingston and around 145 miles away from Clarendon, where it's currently forecasted to make landfall. Do you think Melissa will become a Category 5 sooner than later? I think it's rapidly intensifying right now, so this thing could bomb out really quickly. So I think it could become a Category 5 even before Monday night. Yes, thank you, Weather Shark. Yes, I just got to your thing. Let me see how far behind I was. I'm 15 minutes behind. Okay, guys, I'm catching up. Let's see. All Jamaicans are better prepared, yes. Let's see, Grovetown in Manchester. Thank you so much, Weather Sharkius, for your help. Be sure to subscribe to him if you haven't already. He does YouTube animations on hurricanes just like I do. And what he could do in his next animation is he could animate Hurricane Gilbert for you all. Grovetown, I do not see. I've animated Gilbert before, but I haven't done it recently. I haven't done it in the past year, so he could make a better version for you all. Let's see. No rain in Longville Park. Clarendon. Okay, nothing yet for you there. Let's see. Will Melissa going to weaken if it crosses Jamaica? It will weaken if it does strike Jamaica. But the problem, though, is it's going to be weakening because it's impacting you guys so severely. It could be delivering catastrophic impacts, and that's why it weakens. Okay, so really, if it doesn't weaken, then it's not going to deliver as bad of impacts. If it misses you all, if it hits you, it's going to be delivering a catastrophic blow. Let's see here. Questions. What will be the possible impacts for Jamaica and Spanish Town? Let's discuss that. And again, I do want to mention, though, it is perfectly fine, Sharkies, if somebody asks a question. If somebody asks a question that I've already answered, they can perfectly ask that, because remember, this is going to be a live stream for a little while, so new people tuning in, stuff like that. Only just remember, guys, please do not be asking. Please don't be asking, like twice in a row or whatever. I will get to your question. Let's see. So possible impacts for Spanish Town. You could be seeing catastrophic impacts from this system. You are forecasted to see catastrophic impacts in Spanish Town. Impacts will begin as early as Monday, really. Get your preparations completed by tomorrow if you haven't already. Conditions will be too bad on Monday and Tuesday. Finally calms down on Wednesday and Thursday, though. Around 20 to 30 inches of rain are being forecasted for you from the Hurricane Center. Looks like around 20 inches of rain are forecasted from the European run, 30 inches of rain by the American run, and around 30 inches of rain from the German run. So I'd say really 20 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in Spanish Town. Oops, let's see, where am I? Let's see, where did I go? Okay. Will Negril experience catastrophic impacts not being forecasted yet? You all are forecasted to see major impacts from the system. I'll go over the cone again. We are 14 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing as we're trying to hit 4,000 by the end of the stream. I will be doing more streams, so you'll be staying up to date. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already. This would be crazy doing a live stream and reaching 4,000. So discussing the cone in more detail, Jamaica here, Western Jamaica expected to get major impacts. That does include Trelawney, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Westmoreland, and Hanover. St. Anne and Clarendon are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts. The areas that are expected to get catastrophic impacts are St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas, St. Andrew, Kingston, and St. Catherine. Let's see here. Is Melissa explosively intensifying? It's trying to. This thing, we'll see how well it does over the next, by tomorrow morning. I will be posting more updates on other social media platforms. So I will be doing another stream tomorrow nights, just like this one, going more in detail in terms of what impacts are going on at the moment. But I will be posting on other updates on other social media platforms. So if you use one of these other platforms besides YouTube, please consider following me on the one you use the most. If you use X or Twitter, follow me on @hurricane_chase. If you use Instagram a lot, consider following me at @hurricane_chaser_chase. If you use Facebook or Blue Sky, consider following me at Cyclone Tracking. And if you want to track tropical cyclones across the globe, consider joining discord.gg/chasesstorm to join the Discord server. Let's see here. Let's see here. Other questions. What about Hanover? Okay, Hanover is on the northwestern portions there. They could be seeing, let's see, around 2 to 4 inches is being forecasted by the Hurricane Center. German runs around an inch. American runs up to around, I'd say, 5 inches of rain, and the European run looks to be around up to 5 inches as well. So I'd say around an inch, 1 to 5 inches of rain, but they are still expected to get major impacts because if this shifts to the west, they are going to be getting slammed by a major hurricane. An update from the Hurricane Center will be out in the next 35 minutes. Can you give an update on St. Thomas in Morant Bay? Let's discuss Morant Bay's impacts. So Morant Bay, you are expected to get catastrophic impacts from this storm. It looks like it's going to be bad tomorrow, so get your preparations completed as soon as possible. Okay, rush them to completion if you haven't already. Monday and Tuesday are going to be really bad days before it calms on Wednesday and Thursday. Looking at the rainfall forecast, Hurricane Center's forecasting 30 to 40 inches of rain. European runs forecasting 25 inches. Americans forecasting 30 inches. And the Germans forecasting 40 inches of rain. So you could be seeing 25 to 40 inches of rain from this system. That would be catastrophic. Let's see. Treasure Beach impacts. Let's discuss that. Treasure Beach could see... let's see, where are they? Treasure Beach is somewhere over here. There they are. They could see a landfall from the system if it continues shifting more and more to the west. Treasure Beach here, not expected to really see much tomorrow. You guys have another full day to prepare. Get them done by Monday morning, though. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days of the system. And it looks like you are going to be seeing major impacts from the system. Rainfall totals of around 6 inches are forecasted from the Hurricane Center. European runs showing 8 inches. American showing 6 inches, and the German showing up to 25 inches. So prepare for really 6 to 25 inches of rain if you're in Treasure Beach. Is this storm going to strike Cuba as a Category 4? It could. This storm, I am forecasting it to be a Category 4 as it emerges into the Caribbean once again after passing through Jamaica. So it could still slam into Cuba as a Category 4 strength system. Looks like Cat 3 or Cat 4 is the consensus on the border between those two. What about Ocho Rios? Let's discuss that. Let's see here. So, looks to be around, let's see, looks to be around a third of an inch. Okay, so it looks like impacts will begin as early as tomorrow. So get your preparations completed before the sun rises tomorrow, okay? It really gets bad on on Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days of the system or of impacts. You are expected to see the possibility of catastrophic impacts in Ocho Rios. Rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center are 16 to 20 inches. Europeans forecasting 20 inches. American showing 25 inches, and the German run showing 15 inches. So really, 15 to 25 inches of rain are possible for you there. How much rainfall in the Turks and Caicos Islands? Let's pull up that. Let's see, Turks and Caicos Islands. There looks to be only, or hold on, they are expected to get slight impacts from the storm. Oh wow, we are 5 subscribers away from. Let's see, 5 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as we are about to reach 4,000 subscribers. But the Turks and Caicos Islands. Let me just pull this up so that way I can actually see when I hit 4,000. All right, let's see. So, okay, come on, work. All right. So, Turks and Caicos Islands looks to be around anywhere from 25 to 150 millimeters plus of rainfall expected for you there. All right, it's going to just set that right over there so I can see when I hit the 4,000 mark. Let's see. So, next question. Is Melissa Category 2? Yes, and it could be nearly a Category 3 any moment. Let's see, is Melissa going to be making landfall in the Bahamas? Looks like it. It is going to be plowing through the Bahamas, but does it make a landfall? That's a little bit uncertain this far out. And which island would it make landfall? That's also uncertain. Let's see, 4 subscribers away from 4,000. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Let's see. Is Melissa going to be... yep, okay. What about Westmoreland? Let's see, Westmoreland's impacts... they are forecasted to see major impacts from the system. Hurricane Center is only forecasting really 2 to 5 inches of rain. So those are the kind of impacts you would get in Westmoreland. 2 to 5 inches of rain looks like. Right, 3 subscribers away from 4,000. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Wow, okay, nearly 4,000. Should I be honest with my little sister? I would recommend just like telling them like, okay, there may be a storm coming, or where we're going to be staying home, we're going to be staying sheltered. Just try to do it calmly. That's what I would recommend. Silver Hill Gap at St. Andrew, please. 4,002 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers. Wow, I was not expecting to reach this at all. Thank you guys so much. Wow. Oh man, okay, I can't really enjoy the moment too much. I'll just enjoy it for, a couple seconds, guys. Thank you so much for, I see all the celebration, I see you all doing all the emojis. Thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers. Wow. Man, I did not expect to reach that today. Thank you guys so much. Man, okay, 4,000 subscribers. Wow. Man, okay, thank you guys so much. Back to questions, okay? I do this for you all, so I'm celebrating it as much as I can now, but I will celebrate it more once we're done, okay? Let's get through this storm first, and then we can really celebrate the 4,000 milestone. Silver Hill Gap, let's talk about that. Is that on here? Yes, it is. Okay, and St. Andrew, that is expected to get catastrophic impacts, unfortunately. It looks to be around, let's see, it looks to be as early as tomorrow morning. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning, as by then conditions may be too bad for you to be able to do that. Looking east, or looking at rainfall totals, you are expected to get around 30 to 40 inches of rain. Wow. Okay, and the European run showing around 20 inches. So fortunately that's lower, but the American showing 30 inches and the German run showing 25 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain is going to be possible for you there. Let's see. What about Portland? Let's discuss Portland's impacts. Oh wait, yeah, Portland's over here, yeah. So Portland could see similar impacts, catastrophic impacts, anywhere from 20 to 40 inches of rain, I'd say, for Portland. Port Antonio, let's discuss that. Port Antonio there, let's do that system, or that area. Port Antonio, same thing, 20 to 40 inches of rain. Get your preparations completed as soon as possible, since conditions are likely already deteriorating for you there. Let's see, Montego Bay, let's discuss that area. Montego Bay looks like it's going to be happening as early as tomorrow night or tomorrow evening into night. So get your preparations completed by tomorrow at noon. Get them completed before then. Conditions will continue getting worse on Monday and Tuesday before it eventually calms down on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see here. What else? So, in terms of rainfall totals, you are expected to get major impacts from this. Rainfall totals, the National Hurricane Center is forecasting around 4 inches for you. European runs roughly around 5 inches. American runs roughly around 5 inches as well. And the German run here looks to be around 2 inches. So, really, 2 to 5 inches of rain are forecasted for you. Now, if it continues meandering to the southwest, then that will be major impacts, like catastrophic potentially impacts for you in that area. It all really depends on where it shifts. All right. Let's see. Next question. What about Negril? Let's discuss Negril. Let's see. Negril could see. Let's see here. Let's see. They could see impacts of around. Major impacts are forecasted. 2 to 4 inches of rain are forecasted by the Hurricane Center. German's only showing around an inch, or European and all the other models are really only showing 2 to 4 inches of rain. I'd say 1 to 4 inches of rain is possible for you there. If it misses you to completely to the east, then you'd be fine. Impacts, you have a full day really to prepare of, not really any rain or anything. So really get those preparations completed by tomorrow night, okay? If you haven't already. Conditions will be too bad on Monday and Tuesday to do anything. Let's see, what else? So guys, I'm still trying to catch up to. Oh wow, I am still far behind, guys. I am trying to catch up as quickly as I can. What about James Hill in Clarendon? Again, guys, thank you so much to Sharkius for his help in terms of moderating the chat. There's a lot of questions, and I was not expecting this, and I asked him in such short notice, and he was there. He's the man. He was able to help me. Check out his channel if you haven't already. Let's see. Impacts will be beginning as as early as tomorrow for that area, and this is James Hill. You could be seeing, I believe, major impacts is what's forecasted for you there. Looks to be around the 12-inch mark for rainfall for you there. Let's go to the next question. Well, this seems bad for Jamaica. Yes. Let's see. Portland. Portland could be seeing around catastrophic impacts. Anywhere from 20 to 40 inches of rain are forecasted for you in Portland. See here, Port Antonio. Yeah, I see the message from Weather Shark. That's a sounds good, Chase. But I know that that's like so long ago that he asked that question or he said that. So I'm catching up. Port Antonio. Let's see, Port Antonio there again. Expected to see catastrophic impacts from the system. Really getting bad overnight. So if you haven't already, you need to start hunkering down. If you haven't, get into a safe space. Get your nest ready to go, where you're going to be sleeping, where's the safest place, and where you're sheltering. You all are expected to get 30 to 40 inches of rain from the Hurricane Center is what they're forecasting. Rainfall from the European runs around 20 inches, American runs roughly around 30 inches, and the Germans around 25 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are possible for Port Antonio. I want to hear about Ocho Rios. Let's discuss that area. All right. Ocho Rios could see, they do have the possibility of seeing catastrophic impacts. I don't think it's set in stone there whether or not you're going to see that or not. At least major impacts. Conditions will deteriorate by tomorrow morning, so get your preparations completed before the sun rises tomorrow. Will be worse on Monday and Tuesday before then calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see here. So, in terms of rainfall totals, you are expected to get around 16 inches of rain, 16 to 20 inches of rain by the Hurricane Center. European runs showing up to 20 inches, Americans up to 25 inches, and the Germans around 15 inches. So really 15 to 25 inches of rain are possible for you there. Now, has the Google AI model been updated? Let's discuss that. The Google AI models have been updated. Let's take a look at their forecast now. They show it being a, let's see, having it as a Category 2, 85 knots by then, okay. Then it has it as a Category 4 lower end Category 4. It's not really handling the intensification that well. It does have it slamming into Jamaica as a Category 3 or 4, slams into Cuba as a Category 3 or 4, and then moves through the Bahamas as a Category 2. Now, probabilities of a landfall. Every single ensemble member now shows a landfall of this system. This would be catastrophic now. Every single ensemble member is showing a landfall, 100% chance that it's going to be making landfall. Now let's talk about the percentages based on which parish it will be making landfall in. Starting off with St. Thomas, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members. That's a 10% chance it makes landfall all the way on the eastern portions of Jamaica. Now, combining Kingston and St. Andrew, that's around a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around a, I'm going to count it as 1, 2, 3, 4. So an 8% chance that it makes landfall there. Looking at now St. Catherine, that's 1, 2, that's a third one right there, 4, 5. 5 of them making landfall there. That's around a 10% chance in St. Catherine. Now looking west where they're all clustered, this is now Clarendon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of them make landfall there. That's a 20% chance it makes landfall in St. Catherine. Looking west at Manchester, that would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's again a 20% chance it makes landfall there. Looking at St. Elizabeth, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's a 28% chance it makes landfall in St. Elizabeth just because of the long coastline. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's around a 12% chance it makes landfall in Westmoreland. So here's a look at the odds kind of the probability that it makes at least a landfall in that parish. So really it could be anywhere in Jamaica, and it's starting to get more certain though. It looks like it's more likely going to be making landfall somewhere between St. Elizabeth and Clarendon. They will be getting the worst impacts from the system, at least in terms of the wind and the brunt of it, maybe getting the eye of the system. Let's see what else here. Area of convection east of Melissa, will that develop? I don't even know about if that's a tropical wave or not. I'm not sure about that next little disturbance here. I'm going to refresh this since this is a little bit laggy now. There we go. Look at that eye. They're getting a lot better organized. That area of convection east there, the tropical wave, I believe that's what that is there. Maybe seeing some development. I'm not sure. It's a little bit far out to be discussing that. I haven't marked it as anything. Thank you guys so much for 4,010 subscribers. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing more updates just like this over the coming days. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Let's see here, what other questions? Will parish, or which parish is the least impacts? The least impacts as of right now is the westernmost parishes. That would include Westmoreland and Hanover. But the problem is the system is moving a little bit more west and southwest than forecasted. If that continues, it will be slamming into you. So really, I'd be preparing for major impacts still there. The further east you are, the worse impacts that you should be preparing for. But still, the entire island of Jamaica should be preparing for major impacts from the system. So how long will Melissa stay here in Jamaica? Looks like through at least Tuesday. Looks like Wednesday will be much calmer for you. What about St. Anne, Brownstown? Here. Do I know where that is? St. Anne, Brownstown. I think I might know where that is. I've heard that question before. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not going to find it on here. I'll do it on here. It's Brown apostrophe S. That's why it wouldn't show up other times. There it is. Okay. So you are expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Looks like you're going to be seeing rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center is around 16 to 20 inches. Now, going back to impacts, you want to get your preparations completed by tomorrow morning, so get them done before the sun rises. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days, and then Wednesday looks like it's much calmer. Now, in terms of rain, again, the Hurricane Center is forecasting 16 to 20 inches of rain. European run's only forecasting around 12 inches. American run's forecasting up to 20 inches, and the German run's now showing only 10 inches of rain. So really, anywhere from, I'd say, about 10 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. 10 to 25 inches, or 10 to 20 inches, sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, guys, if you haven't already, consider liking the stream and subscribing if you haven't already. Really helps out a lot. Possible impacts for Black River. Let's discuss that. Black River there could see impacts as early as Monday. Really not as bad of impacts tomorrow, so you do have a day to prepare. use that wisely. Get it done, because by the time you wake up on Monday, it could be getting worse. Looking at Tuesday, still bad then. Let's see what else here. Wednesday and Thursday are the better days, though. In terms of impacts, you are expected to get major impacts. Rainfall totals of 4 to 6 inches are expected for you there from the Hurricane Center. But let's look at the other models. European run wants 5 inches, American wants 5 inches, and the German wants up to 20 inches of rain. So really 4 to 20 inches of rain you should be preparing for. Major impacts. And if this western trajectory continues, you could be getting hit by this directly. Let's see, what other questions here? What about Brownstown in St. Anne? Let's discuss that area. Brownstown in St. Anne there looks to be around, let's see, Brownstown looks to be getting impacts tomorrow. So get those preparations completed by tomorrow, around the time the sun rises. Get them done by then. Looks like Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days of impacts, and Wednesday, a little bit of impacts then, and then Thursday it starts calming down a lot more. In terms of impacts, you are expected to get major impacts. Looks like you're right on the border of no, I'd say you're nothing catastrophic just yet. Looks to be around 8 to 12 inches of rain for you there from the Hurricane Center. European showing about 12 inches, American showing up to 20 inches, and German showing around 9 inches of rain. So really anywhere from 8 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Bull Bay, St. Thomas. Let's see here. Bull Bay, St. Thomas looks like it's going to be bad on getting worse tomorrow. You do still have a little bit of time to prepare before it gets bad. Use that time wisely. Monday is when it really gets bad, and Tuesday as well. Wednesday seems to be calmer though. Let me just do this actually. Hold on, let me pull up this. All right. Looks like okay. We go to how much rainfall in the Dominican Republic. Oh wait, Bull Bay, I do want to mention this again. Catastrophic impacts are possible for you there. Oh, whoa, okay, I can see how this works. All right. Catastrophic impacts are possible for Bull Bay and St. Thomas. Sorry, I don't know what that was. Okay, 30 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Looks like up to around. Okay, yep. So catastrophic impacts are possible there. 30 to 40 inches from the Hurricane Center. Bull Bay could see, and this includes Kingston as well, 30 to 40 inches catastrophic impacts. Up to 20 inches of rain from the European run. American run up to 30 inches, and the German run up to 35 inches of rain. So really be preparing for 20 to 40 inches of rain if you live there. Congrats on 4K. 4K, congrats. Thank you guys so much. I see it now. How will it be for St. Andrew? Okay, St. Andrew is on the, St. Andrew is expected to get catastrophic impacts. If you live in St. Andrew, be preparing for the worst of the worst. You could be getting 30 to 40 inches of rain with the system, with some of the model runs showing a little bit less, around 25 inches, but 25 to 40 inches rain is no joke. Now, real quickly, I want to mention, though, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps out a lot. I will be doing more updates on this. So if you want to stay up to date on this storm and maybe other future Jamaican storms, be sure to subscribe, as it really helps out a lot, and it helps keep you informed as well. I do a lot of these live streams across the globe. You don't need to watch any of the live streams if they're not impacting you, but if you have family in any of the areas that are highlighted in my thumbnails, then consider watching those. So subscribing really helps you out as well to know if there's something going on in your area that you should be watching out for. Let's see here. Yes. All right. I want to hear about Ocho Rios. Let's discuss that. Ocho Rios, in terms of their impacts, let me discuss that. Let's see here. So, Ocho Rios is expected to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts, with rainfall totals around 16 to 20 inches expected there. Impacts will be beginning as early as tomorrow around when the sun rises, so really get those preparations completed before the sun rises. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days of impacts, with Wednesday and Thursday much calmer. In terms of rainfall totals, again, National Hurricane Center forecasting 16 to 20 inches of rain for you there, with the European run showing 20 inches of rain, American run showing up to 25 inches, and the German run showing only around 12 inches. So be prepared for 12 to 20 inches of rain if you live there. Let's see what else. You give the best coverage for us. It's pretty calm in Jamaica right now as we wait for us. Thank you guys so much. I really like doing this for you all. So I'm glad that this is helping you all. Again, if you're finding this informative, consider liking this stream, sharing it with someone you know in Jamaica, and subscribing if you haven't already. Let's see, Manchester. Manchester, they are in the areas of major impacts. Doesn't seem like they're highlighted for the possibility of catastrophic impacts, but rainfall totals, they could see rainfall totals as high as 35 inches, so they could see catastrophic impacts from the system. They may get highlighted in a future update. Clarendon. Clarendon is in the area of major impacts and possibility of catastrophic impacts. They could see up to 35 inches of rain. Anywhere from 16 to 35 inches of rain are possible for Clarendon. So here, am I catching up at all? No, not really. I'm slowly kind of not really catching up to your guys' messages. I'm still around like 10 minutes behind or so. Let's see here. So, Sharkius, can you type in a 1049 in the 1049 in the chat right now, please, just so that way I can then get to it and see how far behind I am. Thank you. Let's see, this is a bad storm. We think it will be 165 miles an hour because of the jog. Yes, it is jogging to the southwest there. We may see the peak get up to a little bit higher. This is rapidly intensifying right now, so by tomorrow morning, this may be a Category 3 or 4 strength system by then. Really bad there. Let's see, Grange Hill. Let me search up that area. Let's see, Grange Hill, forecast to get around 2 to 4 inches of rain if it's in the one in Westmoreland. Nothing too big, anywhere from, I'd say, 1 to 5 inches of rain forecasted there. Still major impacts because it could meander to the west and deliver a Category 3 or 4 blow over there. Hopefully, though, we could see an area start getting out of that major impact color. But unfortunately, though, this is looking more likely that it's going to be wobbling towards the west and then slamming into the western parts of Jamaica now. It looks like the forecast models may start shifting more to the west, and that'd be worse for, let's see, for Jamaica, or for those areas there. In terms of rainfall, yeah, I discussed that. Okay, in terms of impact timing, let me discuss that. Impact timing, you have another day to prepare, really. It is going to be gusty tomorrow, I do want to say that, but you will have time to prepare if you haven't already. Get those preparations completed, though. Let's see, what else here? Let's see here. On Monday, it's going to be bad as well, and Tuesday as well. So those are going to be the worst days for you. Wednesday may be a little bit gusty as well, but Thursday is going to be the day when it's finally gone for you. Let's see, what other questions here? Rock River, Clarendon. Search that area up, see if I can find it. Rock River, Clarendon. Those areas could see catastrophic impacts, looks like. Let me just zoom out. Yeah, catastrophic impacts are expected for you there, with rainfall totals of around 20 inches or more being possible for you. Let's look at the various model runs. This model run showing around 20 inches of rain from the European run, with rainfall totals from... Okay, sorry, won't go away. There we go. American run showing around 25 inches of rain, and the German run only around 15 inches. So really 15 to 25 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. And in terms of impacts, let me pull up the timing again. Again, it's going to be picking up by tomorrow's sunrise, so you really want to get preparations completed before the sun rises. Let's see what else. Yeah, getting worse on Monday and Tuesday, and then calming down finally on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see what else here. How bad will Kingston be hits? Kingston will be hits at, let me pull that up. Kingston, yes. Kingston could see I am forecasting Kingston will see catastrophic impacts. And I want to say thank you guys so much for 4.02 thousand subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Let's see here. Let me do that real quick. Sorry, my phone did something. All right. So again, they are expected to see catastrophic impacts. You guys have about a day to prepare. Get those preparations completed as soon as you can tomorrow if you haven't already. Monday is when it's going to really be picking up when you all wake up on Monday, and Tuesday is going to be bad as well. Looks to be better, much better on Wednesday and Thursday though. Perfect. Live there. Okay. Let's see what else. What about Lawrence? Oh, wait, and rainfall there. Kingston could see a 30 to 40 inches of rain there, which would be catastrophic for those areas. European runs showing lower totals of only around 20 inches of rain, American showing 30 inches, and the German showing 35 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for Kingston. We're getting a better idea of how high those rainfall totals are going to be. What about Lawrence Tavern in St. Andrew? Let me pull that up. Those areas could see around, of course, they are in the areas of major impacts and catastrophic impacts, looks likely there, unfortunately. Some of those areas getting impacts as early as tomorrow morning. So really get your preparations completed in Lawrence Tavern before the sun rises tomorrow morning. Looks like, and in terms of rainfall totals, looks like you're going to be getting around 20 to 30 inches of rain from the hurricane centers of what they're forecasting. European runs about 20 inches, American runs about 30 inches, and the German runs about 20 inches. So really 20 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Let's see what other questions here. If it continues its southwestern jog for 6 hours, what strength do you think it will be? I believe it will reach Category 5 intensity. We will see an update from the Hurricane Center any moment now. Maybe it's already out. I will pull it up right now if it's up. Sorry, let me go back to this. There we go. NOAA Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft report that Melissa is now a major hurricane. Whoa. Oh, wow. It's already a Category 3. Life-threatening and catastrophic flash flooding and landslides expected in portions of southern Hispaniola and Jamaica into early next week. Wow. Okay. Public advisory there. No new watches or warnings. Let's go over the discussion. Let's see what they're talking about now. Reports from NOAA and Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft indicate that Melissa's continuing rapid intensification. The Air Force Reserve Hurricane aircraft reported flight level winds of 150 knots in the northern eyewall and of a 17 nautical mile eye at 700 millibars, along with a central pressure of 967 millibars. Based on these data, the initial intensity has increased to 100 knots, making Melissa a Category 3 major hurricane now. Already a major hurricane, it's already intensifying faster than forecasted. The initial motion is now just south of due west, so it's moving a little bit to the southwest. A low to mid-level ridge to the north of Melissa should steer the hurricane generally westward at a slow forward speed during the next 36 hours or so. After that time, a deep layer mid-latitude trough moving through the southeastern United States will break the ridge, with Melissa expected to turn northward and then recurve into the mid-latitude southwestward flow. The guidance is fairly well clustered during the first 72 hours, with Melissa expected to pass over Jamaica in 48 to 60 hours, and then be near or over eastern Cuba around hour 72. Beyond hour 72, there is some speed and direction spread, but overall guidance is in good agreement that Melissa should accelerate northeastward through portions of the Bahamas into the Atlantic. The new forecast track is a little bit to the south and west of the previous track through hour 60, and similar to the previous track after that time. Rapid intensification is expected to continue during the next 24 to 36 hours. It is possible that during this time, Melissa could intensify even faster than what is currently forecasted. The regional hurricane models show the cyclone peaking before it reaches Jamaica, and based on this, the new forecast keeps a 48-hour peak intensity of 140 knots. Afterwards, some intercore oscillations such as eyewall replacement cycles could lead to fluctuations in intensity before Melissa's first landfall in Jamaica. It must be noted that there is very little practical differences in the overall impacts of a Category 4 or 5 hurricane, and Melissa is expected to be at least that intensity when it moves over Jamaica. Melissa should weaken as it interacts with Jamaica and Cuba, although it is still forecast to be a major hurricane when it nears Cuba. A faster weakening should occur after passing Cuba when the cyclone encounters strong shear over the southwestern Atlantic. Here we go. This remains a very serious situation in terms of catastrophic rainfall, wind, and storm surge hazards for Jamaica. Preparation should be rushed to completion in the area under a hurricane warning. Key messages: Jamaica, seek shelter now. If you haven't already, seek shelter. A multi-day period of damaging winds and heavy rainfall have begun and will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides, extensive infrastructural damage, long duration of power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast early next week. Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected to go across southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities. Strong winds could last for a day or more for the southwestern peninsula. Let's see here. Yep, okay, are expected. Okay, Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall through the middle of next week could produce catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in southern portions of the country. Eastern Cuba and southern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, you all need to be monitoring the storm closely. There is an increasing risk of a significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week in eastern Cuba. The risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. A hurricane watch is in effect for eastern Cuba. Now let's look at the latest Hurricane Center forecasts. See if this is updated. Yep, a little bit more to the southwest. Oh my god, they are now nearly forecasting a Category 5 landfall in Jamaica now. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, I did not expect that. Monday nights may already be a Category 5 by then, slamming into Jamaica there as potentially a Category 5, bringing catastrophic impacts to Jamaica. Wow. Okay, was not expecting that. Man, okay. Let's hope it weakens before slamming into Jamaica. Let's hope it does something. Let's hope a miracle happens and it actually weakens before making landfall in Jamaica. Wow. All right. Let's see. St. Catherine. Sorry, guys. I'm going back to now the impacts. Let's talk about St. Catherine's impacts. St. Catherine is expected to get catastrophic impacts from the system. Wherever it makes landfall there. Man, okay. Yeah, so catastrophic impacts are expected for you in St. Catherine, looks like. And then going into rainfall forecast, should be around 20 to 30 inches of rain on the eastern portions of St. Catherine and around 16 to 20 inches on the western portions of St. Catherine. What about Highgate and St. Mary? Let's see here. Highgate and St. Mary are expected to see, catastrophic impacts are expected for you there as well, unfortunately. With impacts beginning as early as tomorrow when the sun rises, so make sure you get those preparations completed by the time the sun rises. And seek shelter if you haven't already. Let's see, so, I'd say seek shelter now if you haven't already. Seek shelter now, you're out of time for preparations. I wouldn't be going out and doing preparations at this time. Let's see what else. In terms of rainfall forecasts, you're forecast to get around the 20-inch mark from the Hurricane Center. And in terms of their models, though, European showing around 20 inches, or American showing around 25 inches of rain, and the German showing around 15 inches. So really 15 to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you, looks like. Say 15 to 25 inches of rain possible for you there. Lewis Store, St. Mary, light gone. Okay. Yeah, power is going to be out for some areas. Old Harbor. Ooh, there's someone with a check mark. Let me look at him. How many subscribers do you have? I'm just curious. Sorry, it's loading. I'm sorry. 177,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning into this. All right. Wow, okay. This is my first time ever that a checkmark's tuned in. Well, in terms of impacts that you could get there in Old Harbor, let me pull that up. Old Harbor Bay could see catastrophic impacts from the system. I would bet more likely than not you will be seeing catastrophic impacts with 20 to 30 inches of rain being possible there. And looking like, let me just test this out real quick. I'm just going to take a picture of that. Yeah, 20 to 30 inches of rain for you there. Let me see what else here. Hold on. Yes, okay. Getting to that now. All right. Yeah, so 20 to 30 inches of rain being forecasted by the National Hurricane Center. In terms of impact timing, you still have a little bit of time to prepare if you haven't already. Get those preparations completed by tomorrow. And looking like rainfall amounts of the European run showing 20 inches, American run around 20 to 25 inches, and the German run up to 35 inches. So really, 20 to 35 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. That would be catastrophic. Let's see here. What about Trelawney? Trelawney there in the northwestern portions of Jamaica could see major impacts. Not really anything catastrophic just yet. Mainly in between around 4 to 12 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Oh man, okay, I haven't even reached that message there. Whoops. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to. Where was I? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get to the questions. Oops, I just lost where I was at. Let me find out where. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, Trelawney. Johns Hall, St. James. Let me tell you that. Johns Hall, St. James looks to be around catastrophic. Or wait, no, sorry, wrong one. Johns Hall, wrong one. Johns Hall up in there. Is this the one? No, I'm not sure which one. This in this area though, St. James, anywhere from around 2 to 6 inches of rain being forecasted for you there. What about Red Hills? Let me pull up that. Red Hills, Jamaica. I don't see that on here, unfortunately. Thompson Town. Let me pull up that. Don't see that on here. Melissa's now a major hurricane? Yes. Montego Bay, let me pull up that. Yeah, Montego Bay, they still have a little bit of time to prepare if you haven't already. Get those preparations done before tomorrow night, though. It will be gusty tomorrow, and a little bit of light rain could be happening tomorrow, but get those preparations completed by tomorrow. Impacts will continue getting worse on Monday and Tuesday before finally calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Rainfall totals from the Hurricane Center around 2 to 4 inches, or 2 to 4 inches, maybe 4 inches expected for you there. Major impacts that are still predicted for you there. Which parish will be getting it the worst? Let's discuss this cone here. Major impacts for Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, and Manchester. Catastrophic impacts are possible for St. Anne, Clarendon, in those areas. Catastrophic impacts are expected for St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Kingston, Portland, and St. Thomas. Those eastern provinces are going to be getting the worst because of the flash flooding threat. 10:49. Okay, that means I am around 15 minutes behind Weather Sharkies. Can you type in the chat 11:04 now, please? Just so then I can see. I'm trying to get within that 15-minute range. Let's see. So if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing, as that really helps out a lot. Yep. Let's see. Freetown, Manchester. Let me discuss that area. Yes, guys, I will be getting to all your questions. Don't worry. But yeah, guys, please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm doing a lot here. It really mean a lot, or it really mean a lot. Okay, let's see. You said St. Andrew, I believe, or no, Manchester is what you said. Freetown and Manchester, I think, is what you said. Is this the? I don't know which. Wait, hold on. Freetown, Manchester. I don't know which one there, but Manchester could see anywhere from 6 to 16 inches of rain. 6 to 20 inches of rain looks like. Catastrophic impact still expected there. Let me scroll down. Sorry, guys, I'm getting to your stuff slowly. Let's see. What about Alston and Clarendon? Let's discuss those impacts that you could see there. Okay, I don't see it there, but Clarendon could see catastrophic impacts from the system. There's the possibility you all see catastrophic impacts. Rainfall totals around 12 to 20 inches are going to be possible for you there. Will Melissa affect Brownstown and St. Anne? Yes, St. Anne could see the possibility of catastrophic impacts. What about Discovery Bay? Did it move any more to the southwest? Yes, it did. That has shifted the forecast a little bit more to the west. Now, Discovery Bay and St. Anne, let's discuss those impacts. You are expected to get major impacts from this system. Looks like it will be calming, it will be getting worse. I'd say shelter in place if you haven't already. Monday and Tuesday are going to be the worst days, and Wednesday and Thursday will be much calmer. In terms of impacts, rainfall totals, the Hurricane Center is forecasting around, let me see, where is it? It's around forecasting around 8 to 12 inches for you. European run's forecasting 11 inches. American showing around 13 to 15 inches, and the German run around 8 inches of rain. So yeah, really around 6 to 15 inches of rain is going to be possible for you there, looks like. Major impacts are expected, though. Let's see, we have a question for Kingston. See here, Kingston. Kingston's impacts are going to be catastrophic here with the system. You still have a day to prepare if you haven't already. You could squeak by doing that. But be cautious as you do that. Monday is going to be when it's really bad, and same with Tuesday. Finally calms down on Wednesday and Thursday. All right, in terms of rainfall, you are expected to get 30 to 40 inches of rain from the National Hurricane Center. Europeans showing around 20 inches, Americans showing 30 inches, and the German showing 35 inches. So really 20 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible in Kingston. Catastrophic impacts are possible there, or are expected there. Let's see, Buff Bay in Portland. There we go. Buff Bay in Portland is expected to get catastrophic impacts. You all should be sheltering in place if you haven't already. Seek shelter now if you haven't already. Rainfall is just going to get worse and worse and worse. This is the start of it, okay? It's only going to get worse and worse and worse for you there, so seek shelter immediately. Conditions will be improving on Wednesday and Thursday. In terms of rainfall, though, in those areas in Portland, up to around 30 to 40 inches of rain. I'd say 20 to 40 inches of rain possible there. How about the wind speed for Kingston, Jamaica? Category 5 conditions are possible. 160 mile an hour plus are going to be possible for Kingston, Jamaica. All right. Let's see. What about St. Thomas? St. Thomas also catastrophic impacts there. 20 to 40 inches of rain there. Maybe even, I'd say 25 to 40 inches of rain for St. Thomas there. So what about St. Andrew? St. Andrew, same scenario there. If you're on the eastern side, 30 to 40 inches of rain. If you're on the western side, I'd say around 20 to 35 inches of rain. All right, thank you, Sharkies. Now I'm only 4 minutes behind. Now I'm catching up, okay? I'm now 4 minutes behind. I am catching up. What parishes will get the strongest winds? We don't know, really. Strongest winds is a little bit uncertain. It's going to be the ones on the southern side, though. What about Linstead? Let me answer the Linstead question. Linstead is right over there. You could see catastrophic impacts from the system. I'd say just, yeah, you could see catastrophic impacts from the system. Conditions are only going to get worse over time. You still have a little bit of time to prepare. Just know it will be gusty. Let's see here. What else? In terms of, okay. In terms of rainfall, you are expected to get around 20 inches of rain from this system, 20 to 30 inches of rain. Let's look at the various model runs. The European run showing 20 inches, American showing 25 inches, and the German showing around 20 inches of rain for you there. What about Westmoreland? Let's discuss Westmoreland. And guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing as it really helps out a lot. Westmoreland, really only 2 to 4 inches, maybe 1 to 5 inches of rain from the models, but I'd still be preparing for major impacts because the cone's starting to shift more and more to the west, so be prepared for a major hurricane landfall potentially happening there. The chances are starting to decrease, though, on where it's going to go, like certainty's increasing slowly, but I'd still be preparing for a major blow from the system, since any more to the southwest, it's still moving to the southwest, and it could slam right into you. What about Andover? Same thing for you. Now, for St. Mary, you could be, I'd be expecting catastrophic impacts for eastern St. Mary and the possibility of catastrophic impacts for the western portions of St. Mary with this system. Rainfall totals anywhere from around 12 inches to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for you in St. Mary. Good evening, Paisley Gardens and Portland, Jamaica. Portland is going to be seeing catastrophic impacts, and I can tell you more about, or no, I can't really show that. 30 to 40 inches of rain for your area there. Let's see. Is this storm actually going to hit Jamaica? Yes, it will. No way it avoids Jamaica. You all will be seeing at least major impacts from the system. All right. What about Port Maria? Let's see. Port Maria. Let me pull up that area. Port Maria could still, I'd recommend sheltering in place if you're in Port Maria. Seek shelter if you haven't already. Conditions are going to be continuing to deteriorate over the next few days. Seek shelter if you haven't already. Around 20 inches or so are expected for you from the Hurricane Center. Looking at this, though, the European run showing around 18 or 20 inches of rain. American showing up to 25 inches, and the German showing around 12 inches. So around 12 to 30 inches of rain possible for you there. See, I'm in Spanish Town at St. Catherine, West Indies. What time is this on Sunday morning? Let's see. So we're Spanish Town. Let me pull up this. Let's see. So it is going to be raining tomorrow for you in Spanish Town. It should. Monday morning is when it's going to really be getting bad. So just be prepared. Monday morning is when things are going to really start going downhill, looks like. Now, the fact that it is wobbling a little bit more to the south may try to keep those worst impacts away from you on Monday. Um, but really starts getting worse on Monday nights and Tuesday. Tuesday morning, it shows it directly over Jamaica. Falmouth, Trelawney. Let's discuss those impacts. Oops, Falmouth. Falmouth. Could see, let's see, around on here. That's around, or the conditions start to deteriorate let's see, yeah, by tonight, or by tomorrow night, sorry about that. And so I'd get your preparations completed by tomorrow night if you haven't already. You still have a little bit of time, but you will be getting some of those outer rain bands, so be prepared for the system to strike you. It looks like on Monday getting worse then, and still on Tuesday as well, and then finally it starts calming down on Wednesday, and Thursday is much calmer. In terms of impacts, I'd be preparing for major impacts from the system because it could shift more to the west and directly strike you. But in terms of rainfall, looks like around 6 to 8 inches. From the Hurricane Center, European showing around 7 inches, American around 9 inches, and the German only around 3 inches. So I'd say 3 to 9 inches of rain expected for you there. Guys Hill at St. Catherine. Let's see if I can pull that up. Okay, why isn't it loading? This is working, right? Okay. Oh, there we go. Guys Hill in St. Catherine could see catastrophic impacts from this system. Rain really starts getting worse tomorrow, so get your preparations completed before the sun rises tomorrow. Impacts get really bad on Monday and Tuesday, and then finally start calming down on Wednesday and Thursday. Let's see here. Thank you from St. Mary. Of course, guys, if you're liking this kind of content and you want to stay more up to date on these kind of tropical cyclones threatening areas across the globe, including Jamaica, be sure to subscribe. I also do hurricane animations if you like that. Alright, Weather Sharkiest, you can stop deleting messages now. Thank you so much. Now I'm catching up. Can you check the Recon flight? Sure. Now, guys, I want you all to say, or give Sharkiest a big thanks for his help so far. Like, he has been a huge help in trying to help me get to all your questions. 967 millibars. This is rapidly intensifying, looks like. Wow. Okay, that mission's done. This one's still going on. Wow. Okay. Just continuing to quickly intensify, just getting worse and worse. Let's see. So, hi, I just joined. Okay, what about Kingston? I believe this will be a Category 5 or before landfall. Yes, Kingston could see, or I am expecting Kingston to receive catastrophic impacts, not really just from the wind, but from the rain. Areas there could see 30 to 40 inches of rain. Thankfully, though, the European run's only showing around 20 inches, but the American showing 30 inches and the German showing up to 35 inches of rain there. So I'd say 20 to 40 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. Yes, thank you so much, Sharkius. I will message you on Discord if you haven't already. Now be sure to subscribe to him. You see him? If you click on his channel, click go to channel and subscribe to him as well. Okay, he's a huge help on this. Okay, on me getting information out to you all. Let's see here. What about St. Elizabeth? St. Elizabeth looks like they're going to be experiencing 4 to 6 inches of rain. Going back to St. Elizabeth over there, looks like they're going to be experiencing major impacts from the system. Doesn't look like catastrophic impacts are on the table for you all in St. Elizabeth, but up to 30 inches of rain are possible, so we may see some catastrophic impacts be added for you there. Let's see, what about prayers, all my family and everyone in Jamaica? Yep. What about Portmore in St. Catherine? And another question from St. Catherine, so let's just knock both of them out of the way. In terms of Portmore, is this the right one? Yeah, Portmore, St. Catherine. St. Catherine looks like they will be seeing catastrophic impacts on the eastern portions, and that does include Portmore. You have a day to prepare, and then it's going to be too bad to really do anything. Seek shelter by Monday, or by Sunday nights. Really gets bad on Monday, and then starts calming down finally on Tuesday after it makes landfall and slams into Jamaica. Then Wednesday and Thursday are much calmer. In terms of rainfall, St. Catherine's expected to get 20 to 30 inches of rain. European run showing Portmore getting 20 inches, American showing 30 inches, and the German showing 35 inches. So really 20 to 35 inches of rain are going to be possible for you there. In Do you think it will keep trending west as the GFS model converges with others? I think it will continue trending west because the storm's been moving a little bit more to the southwest than forecasted, as you can see here. It's been raining in Buff Bay, Portland right now, and a little bit windy. Yeah, Portland, they're getting some impacts from the system. The outer rain bands, you can see right there where the system's located right now compared to Jamaica. That eye starting to... Wow, okay, this thing is bombing out right now, rapidly, explosively intensifying. Congrats on 4,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, as it really helps out a lot. It helps me get out information to y'all. And Susan, you are welcome for getting the information out. It shifted out of the cone of uncertainty. Yes, I mean, it was doing that earlier. Has it now? Yeah, I mean, it's shifting a little bit more to the south of the cone. It did make a wobble to the southwest, and it's continuing to do that even more now, looks like. Let's see here, what else? What's the update on Negril? Looks like major impacts for you there. If it shifts more to the west, you will be getting hit by a Category 4 or 5 hurricane, but currently looks like it's going to be slamming into central Jamaica, but still be preparing for major impacts. 2 to 4 inches of rain isn't much right now for you. Like, what's the forecast for you? Not a whole lot. I have a very bad feeling about the landslides in the eastern part of Jamaica. Definitely. 40 inches of rain is catastrophic. What about Bamboo in St. Anne? Let's discuss that area. Now, guys, I do get to all your questions. I just want you to let you know that, so you don't need to repeat the questions, okay? I do get to it eventually. Let's see. So this area looks to be around 20 inches of rain there. Catastrophic impacts are expected for you, or is it expected or possibility? Looks more like, let me just look again. Looks more like it's just a possibility that you see catastrophic impacts. And that area looks to be around, gets worse by tomorrow. So I'd say seek shelter if you haven't already. Conditions are just going to continue to get worse and worse by overnight Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Seek shelter if you haven't already. Then Wednesday and Thursday finally calm down. In terms of rainfall, you're expected to get around 20 inches from the National Hurricane Center, what they're forecasting. European runs also 20 inches. American runs up to 25 inches, and same for the German run. So 20 to 25 inches of rain. That's over 2 feet of rain possible for you there. Will there be storm surge in Haiti? Not as much. Haiti is on this side, and really not as much. I wouldn't be expecting much for Haiti. Maybe portions. I don't think really much at all for Haiti right now. Fortunately, you all are... Now, I mean, it's not just that, but you are going to be experiencing catastrophic impacts in the form of rainfall. Man, okay. Let me pull up the latest Hurricane Center update on their rainfall totals. I want to see that graphic again. Yep. Catastrophic impacts for parts of, man, okay, geez. Okay, guys, and questions are deleted in case if you ask them twice or whatever. But of course, guys, I think the eye will be very clear by late tonight or early morning. I mean, it's almost midnight now, Eastern Daylight Time. Good nights. What about Montego Bay? Montego Bay, major impacts is what I'd be preparing for over there. With the system there. Major, very bad hurricane slamming, or like it could slam into there if it moves more to the west of forecast, which is kind of doing right now. I'm going to check something real quick. Let's see, Northern Clarendon. Northern Clarendon looks like they're going to see major impacts with the possibility of catastrophic impacts there. Looks like around 20 inches of rain or so. In these, yep, so up to 16 to 20 inches of rain I'd be forecast. Maybe 16 to 25 inches of rain for Northern Clarendon. What about Manchester? Manchester in the province there, it's quite uncertain because, you know, Manchester's a north-south province, and the impacts are very dependent on how close east or west as it gets. Looks like anywhere from 6 to 20 inches of rain are going to be possible, though, for this area. So major impacts, potentially catastrophic impacts if you're on the southeastern portions of Manchester. St. Mary. St. Mary is expected to get catastrophic impacts if you're on the eastern portions of St. Mary. Western portions looks like a possibility of catastrophic impacts. So really, up to 30 inches of rain are going to be possible for you, and 30 to 40 inches of rain are possible for the easternmost areas of St. Mary. Savannah Lamar. Those areas, let me pull that up. Savannah Lamar could see, and I have it highlighted as major impacts, and that could change if it's moving more to the west, potentially catastrophic impacts. It's a little bit uncertain. And St. Andrew, again, catastrophic impacts for St. Andrew, up to 30 to 40 inches of rain being possible there. St. Catherine, same ordeal, catastrophic impacts for St. Catherine as well, with anywhere from 16 to 40 inches of rain falling there, or mainly 16 to 35 inches of rain falling in St. Catherine. St. Thomas is getting rain and wind already. Light poles are already down. Wow, okay, yes, it's starting to already approach you guys, unfortunately. You need to be seek sheltered already if you're in St. Thomas. The more west it shifts, would all of Jamaica get more rain in total or no? Probably, yeah, more rain. More time over water, more time dumping lots amount of rain. What about St. Elizabeth? St. Elizabeth is expected to get major impacts. It's a little bit uncertain as to where it's going to strike directly, but St. Elizabeth, major impacts around anywhere from 2 to 8 inches of rain mainly, depending on where you are in St. Elizabeth. I'd just be preparing for this to slam into you as a major hurricane. It's uncertain. The cone is quite large. Could really hit anywhere from the western parts of Jamaica to the eastern parts, but it's looking like it's shifting a little bit more to the west. Now, I do want to say, guys, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a lot, and it really helps keep you informed as well. I will be doing another stream on this storm tomorrow, around the same time. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. And man, okay, this is going to be the last update before some of you are going to be out without power, unfortunately. All good if you guys have bad grammar, it's all fine. St. Andrew, again, yeah, I answered that, yep. And I'm going to see if there's any questions on Twitter. Nope, not really seeing anything on there. Rainfall in Haiti. Looking at Haiti's rainfall totals, let me pull that up here. Haiti could see on the northeastern parts only 25 to 50 millimeters. That's not bad at all. But portions of the northern areas of Haiti could see 50 to 100 millimeters. Central Haiti and northwestern Haiti could see anywhere from 100 to 200 millimeters of rain. Parts of southeastern Haiti could see anywhere from 200 to 400 millimeters of rain. And then portions of southwestern peninsula could see anywhere from 400 to 750 millimeters of rain being all possible there. So that's why catastrophic rainfall is possible in parts of southwestern Haiti. What about Old Harbor Bay and St. Catherine with storm surge? Old Harbor Bay, let me pull up that area. Said it's in St. Catherine. Pull up where that is. Old Harbor Bay, where is it? There it is. Yeah, catastrophic storm surge is expected, or major storm surge at least. 12 to 13 feet of sea level rise is expected for you there in Old Harbor Bay. I really wish I could zoom in more to show you this all a lot better. Oh, there's the legend right there. Yeah, greater than 9 feet of storm surge expected for Old Harbor Bay. Will Nassau be affected? Let me see. Nope, I do not have them highlighted anymore for the possibility of marginal impacts. You all are good. You don't have to watch the stream, okay? You guys are good. If I'm highlighting you in red in the next video, then you all can click it. Subscribe if you haven't already, just to stay up to date. Yep, strong winds will also be threatening parts of Jamaica. Or all of Jamaica, really. What category is it now? It's a Category 3 right now. And looking at its intensity, let me pull that up. Intensity looks like it is, sorry, movement speed, 3 miles an hour. It's moving very slow. You all could walk or run faster than that. I know people in Old Harbor Bay, unfortunately, Old Harbor Bay may be demolished or maybe destroyed, depending on where it makes landfall. It all depends on where, though. If it makes landfall just to the west, here, then it would deliver. Yeah, if this track verifies, it could be completely destroyed. Because if it's right over here, for example, that would be delivering catastrophic storm surge there of like 13 feet or more. We'll be turning to the west side of Jamaica. It's a little bit uncertain this far out. Say Category 4 near the morning, maybe. Yeah, Category 4 by tomorrow morning may happen. Well, I am probably going to be wrapping up the stream, if that's all right with all of you. I think I answered most of the questions. Again, I'll go over it one last time with y'all, since you all stayed. Looks like marginal impacts for a large portion of Hispaniola, the entirety of Hispaniola, the Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as the Bahamas there, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, as well as Jamaica there, and the rest of Hispaniola, of course. Marginal impacts. There is an area of slight impacts, which does include southwestern Dominican Republic and western. Let me hide that real quick. There we go. And southwestern, or everywhere except northeastern Haiti will experience at least slight impacts. The Turks and Caicos Islands as well in the southeast and central Bahamas as well. Southeastern Cuba and the entirety of Jamaica as well in that slight category. The areas highlighted in the moderate category will be southwestern Dominican Republic, southern Haiti, and portions of the central Bahamas, central and southeastern Bahamas, as well as southeastern Cuba and the entirety of Jamaica there in that moderate category. The possibility of major impacts is because we're uncertain as it's a little bit far out, but areas in the Bahamas, wherever it makes landfall, will be seeing potentially major impacts, as well as parts of Cuba there. Depending on where it goes, it's quite uncertain. Areas that are expected to get major impacts is the southeastern or southern coast of Cuba there, as well as the southwestern Dominican Republic and southern Haiti, as well as the entirety of Jamaica expected to get major impacts. Possibility of catastrophic/extreme impacts does include the southern portions of the Dominican Republic, as well as the southwestern peninsula of Haiti, as well as the eastern portions of Jamaica, which does include St. Anne and Clarendon there, and that possibility of catastrophic. The areas expected to see catastrophic impacts are the western portions of the Dominican Republic, as well as eastern, this is going to be eastern Jamaica, which does include St. Mary, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas, and Kingston. If you're in those areas, you should be preparing for catastrophic impacts. Alright, guys. Well, thank you all so much for watching the stream. And I do want to say, though, if you want to stay more up to date on this system and more live streams, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe, please, okay? As it really helps out a lot, and it helps keep you up to date. If you see the thumbnails of these live streams and you're highlighted in red, you'll know whether or not you should click it or not. If you're not in red, you don't have to bother. Okay, I'm not gonna ask for people to watch if you're not in the impact zone. I only want people from the impact zone watching these streams, really. Let's see, and I will be posting more updates besides you on other platforms that are not YouTube. So on X, follow me on @hurricane_chase. I'm nearly at like 7.4 thousand followers on there. Let me check if I'm there just yet. Whoa, okay, I reached 7.4 thousand followers there. Thank you guys so much on that. And looking at these other areas here, also, if you have Instagram, consider following me at @HurricaneChaserChase. I post more of the cones on there if you use Instagram at all. And on Facebook and Blue Sky, consider following me at Cyclone Tracking. And if you have Discord, consider joining at discord.gg/chasesstorm. Let's see what happened here. Let's see. Alright. So that seems like it's about it. Let me just make sure. Yep, okay. Yes, guys, so thank you all so much for watching. And I will be ending the stream, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm just making sure, guys, will you be there for the next stream? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. Who am I going to see next time? Let's see. Who's going to be staying up to date? I know Richie is going to be staying up to date. Let's see. Lizbeth is going to be staying up to date. Good job. All right, that's the step one mainly, just staying up to date. You're already ahead of everyone else. Staying up to date. Cause notable, nice. Okay. Susan, I'll be there. Michael, nice. Okay. Nice, guys. I'll see you all there. Sharon, I'll see you there. Okay, I'll be starting it at around 8 o'clock or so. 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Hopefully, we can see some of these areas in the cone start being less impacts, like parts of the Dominican Republic should be downgraded in their impacts because, already so much of the rain have fallen. Parts of Haiti as well, let's hope this goes down. But unfortunately, parts of the Bahamas will be increasing in their threat, as well as Bermuda. So that's just a little bit of a heads up on the next forecast cone. 8 p.m. will be the next forecast. Sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So that's around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for y'all in Jamaica, I believe. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching as well. Again, I sincerely thank you all so much, and thank you so much for 4,000 subscribers, okay? Thank you all so much. Can't believe we're already at 4.05k, almost at 4.1k. Wow. Maybe we could reach 5,000 by the end of the year. That would be crazy. But thank you all so much for all the support, and I will see you in the next update. Stay safe out there, okay? I really